guys.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the first Dr. Scientist live stream. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. If you're watching this in retrospect down the line someday,
Yep.
thank you for watching it. We
Yep,
appreciate
thank
that
you.
too. Thank you very much.
Today is, of course, well, actually, technically it's tomorrow, but tomorrow is Ryan's birthday, everybody.
Hey,
Happy birthday to Ryan.
Thank you very much.
He's
Thank
800
you.
years
Oh,
old today.
An elderly person.
He's wizard ages.
Yeah,
He
geez.
ages, what, 10
Yeah.
times as fast as the
Oh,
normal
gosh.
person here.
49
That would mean
years
you're
young
80,
tomorrow.
actually.
I don't even want to think about the big number. It just gets
Yeah,
bigger and bigger.
19,
49 tomorrow.
19 times the regular human years is how Ryan ages.
Flip. Yeah, I'm an old guy. Have been for a long time, actually, it feels like, but...
Yeah. Anyways, if you guys don't know, we are Dr. Scientists.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Neil.
We're Dr. Scientists.
We make guitar pedals and stuff. And now Eurorack stuff too.
Yeah.
We just came out with a
Yeah, we do.
Eurorack module recently, which is our BitQuest. We converted that from a guitar pedal into a Eurorack
A
module.
really fun Eurorack module. If you're not familiar with Eurorack, it is a kind of... I wouldn't say DIY, but it's a modular synthesizer where you are going to choose all of the components of a synthesizer and connect them together yourself in real time. You know, like it's a very experimental. It's a very fun way to get into synthesizers where you're plugging and patching all the oscillators and the filters and everything however you want to do it and coming up with really wild synthesizer tones. It's really fun.
I know you can't read because of your eyesight, but Al says happy birthday
Oh, shit.
and
Hey, Al.
congratulations on being 8,000 years old.
Thank you very much, Al. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you,
I
Al.
hope you're having a nice Sunday.
Yeah, so if you haven't checked it out, there's a really good demo by our friend Adam.
Yes, Adam.
Who did an awesome video.
He's really good. Trust this mechanism.
Trust This Mechanism, I
Yeah.
think is what he was called. Yeah, he did an awesome little video on our Eurorack BitQuest. He did one of
I was
Freak
just gonna
actually
say,
recently.
he,
That was
he
awesome.
showed off our Freak nicely too.
Yeah,
which
Freak
is-
was great. Freak is our newest ring mod pedal.
Yeah.
And maybe not the biggest hit, but we knew ring mod kind of sounds stupid no matter
Yeah.
what you do with
It's
it.
a wi- it's
But
an
he made
out
it sound
there
really
effect,
good.
yeah.
So yeah, cool thing he did is put it on drums and kind of
I
makes
like
these
it. I like it a lot on drums too.
crunchy
Yeah.
electronic sounding drums out of a drum
Yeah,
sound.
it's
so-
actually surprising how ring mod sounds on drums. You wouldn't expect it to be so. It really does a lot with drums. It sounds neat.
Yeah, it makes them all crunchy and cool sounding.
Yeah.
We're also going to be coming out with a reverberator. We're bringing that one back.
Yeah.
We kind of got some chips going. You know, it wasn't a what do you call that? It's a new old stock.
Yeah,
so
new old
it's
stock.
it's a chip that they don't make anymore.
Should
so
we do a little backstory on the reverberator before?
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay,
go ahead.
Little backstory. The reverberator is a pedal that I was making in 2005 when we started Dr. Scientist. The reverberator was part of our line. It's a very simple, straightforward reverb pedal, and it's based off of a really special trio of chips that was designed by a legendary DSP designer, a man named Keith Barr, who passed away many years ago. But he made this trio of chips that we would use in the reverberator, two converters for analog to digital and then digital to analog, and then the DSP engine itself. They call it the reverb engine. And so we based the pedal around that chipset for many years. We made just about 3,000 reverberators from 2005 to 2017. But in, I think it was 2015, was when Wavefront Semiconductors, they were the guys who sold that trio of the chips. They pulled the plug in 2015. They said, we are going out of business. It is the end of these chips. No one else will be making these chips. And that was the end of it. I bought as many as I could to like make a few extra reverberators, but it was like, it was doomed, you know, it was the end of it. And so by 2017, we had built the last one and we basically called that pedal retired and we just walked away from it. We just decided, you know, on to other things. We made the Atmosphere after that, right? We did, you know, we did other stuff. But all through these years, people always, they want the reverberator back. You know, it was very small, it was very straightforward and simple, and it's like a top-notch reverb pedal that like suits a lot of people in a lot of styles. And so we thought, okay, what if we got digging around a bit? Because, you know, the current state of like electronics parts in the world, right? They all come from China. And so if you have contacts in China, you can generally check in with these guys who are right on the scene of where these chips were manufactured and where they are still, you know, being stored and stocked and like on shelves. And some guys, you know, some people's back rooms and stuff. And if you dig around, there'll be people who have some of those chips still, new old stock. They were never used. They just sat around. And so Neil and I have been just rounding up some here and there to give them a try, make sure they're all kosher, and then we're gonna make the reverberator again in a small way. I see we got a little bit.
Yeah, you got some comments. There.
Yeah,
you got Searching for Tone
Brian.
says happy birthday.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah,
Look
thank
at that.
you.
My nephew,
yeah,
Jack.
your nephew Jackson.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today, Jack. Jeez.
And Al wants
for
50th birthday. That's next year.
Yeah,
so a year
sure.
from now, he
What?
wants a sexy calendar featuring
Oh,
you
God.
with just pedals covering it up to keep
Man,
things
of
safe.
all the things,
That sounds like a great idea. I think that'll be a
I
big
do think
hit.
it sounds like a
Big
great
hit.
idea too. It's really the
Yeah.
direction that Neil and I want to go in.
Jackson, you'll be getting the first one
Yeah,
there.
Jack,
Send it off to the family
Jack will be
members.
old enough to
Yeah.
take part in
Yeah.
that too. Jeez, that's a wild idea. A freaking firefighter calendar for guitar pedals. I love it. That's a hilarious idea. Thank you very much, you guys, for the birthday wishes, for watching the stream. Very much appreciated. So the reverberator, I don't know. It's not gonna be. I don't think we'll be sending them to like dealers. I think we'll be making them in very small numbers. You know, like a half a dozen here and a half a dozen there.
Yeah,
kind of
we
thing.
really have no idea how many we're actually going to be able to put together just because of the limited
Yeah.
amount of those old chips. So it's kind of up in the air, and we're just going to kind of make them and throw them up on the website whenever we can.
These guys, when you find a place that has some new old stock of this special chipset, they never have like 1,000 of them. They have like 24 of them, and so
Yeah.
you just try to make it work, right? But we're gonna try to make it work.
Yeah. We got a whole 3 viewers watching now, so thank you everybody.
That has exceeded our wildest expectations and ideas for this stream. Thank you very much, you
we
guys.
really
Thank
expected
you.
0, so
Totally.
3 is awesome.
Totally.
Thanks, guys.
My niece Becky was sure this morning that this was going to be to a stream of 0, so so way to prove her wrong. Thank you very much.
Searching for Tone says, my brother's 50 today. 22
Oh,
years
nice.
ago, he got on the fire department.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you.
Yeah, hey,
Firefighters are like the
yeah.
coolest people out there.
Happy birthday to your brother, and thank him
Yeah.
very much for his service. We appreciate the heck out of it.
2 years
Appreciate the
ago
heck out of
today,
firefighters.
retired. Congratulations on retiring.
That's huge too.
Must be
yes,
nice.
yeah.
We're going to be doing the same thing till we're dead, I
I
think.
would expect to do this job until the grave, basically. You run a small little weird business. You don't really get to quit it. You just have
No.
to do it forever. Yeah.
But, we don't have to lift anything. We don't
Yeah.
have to do any physical
No,
labor.
it's
So,
it's
really,
safe and easy. So
we're
we would choose to do it forever.
basically
anyway.
already retired, honestly. So, today we are going to be getting
Yeah.
around to Star Wars games.
You
That
guys
is,
want to see some Star
it is
Wars
May
games?
4th.
That's what we were thinking. May the 4th. Let's play some Star Wars.
Yeah, if you guys want to let us know what your favorite Star Wars
Yeah.
character is down in
talk
the
Star
bottom
Wars,
there, that'd
yeah.
be great. My favorite is Captain Picard. I think the first game today we're going to be playing is Star Wars Pod Racer, which
wanna
I'm
do Pod
sure
Racer? Yeah.
is everybody's favorite
Yeah.
Star Wars movie,
Yeah, you
episode
guys,
1,
you're
right?
probably thinking, what console should we go to for the best Star Wars games through the
Yeah.
years, right? I think we're all thinking the same thing.
Battlefront? God, no.
N64.
We do have a rad as hell job, Al. Thank you. Yeah.
It is good, Al. It is good. It's
It is
like
good. It's got its ups and downs, but
yeah,
it's
a-
mostly neutral on a flat line.
it's roller coastery a little bit though, isn't it? Yeah, it is a bit up and down.
We have
It's
the joke. I don't know if you guys have visited our website, but we always have the joke where we started as a 2-person operation in a basement, and now we're moved on to 3 people in a totally different basement.
Sky's the limit,
So,
right?
yeah. Still nowhere to go but up. We've
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
using that as our optimistic catchphrase for a long time now, and
Ah.
it still applies.
There's something about being small scale though that I don't mind. Like,
Yeah, it's fun. I like
it's
being
all
able to
right.
do whatever we want at any time.
it's very free. It's a very
Oftentimes,
free-
we have no idea what we're going to be doing next. We still are tossing around ideas of what our
yeah,
next
you
thing
maybe
should
don't
be.
know. Yeah.
We're always working on stuff. One of our upcoming things, though, we know for sure is coming up is we're going to be doing a new Cosmochorus.
Yes.
The Cosmicorus, as
underway.
I call it.
Yeah, the old Cosmicorus. It's well underway too. We actually already have a first PCB that we've been hacking apart and modifying. And that's huge for like a complicated pedal that has a whole bunch of systems in place that you have to now bring together in this pedal form, right? Your first PCB is going to be all over the place. It's going to have like things that you're going to have to make work that it's just all over the place. And so for us to have our first PCB done and to have already progressed through a bunch of its development, we're actually really close to a second PCB.
Yes, we are.
And
Yeah,
once you're at your second PCB,
that's pretty much done.
you're 97% done.
Yeah. We have a joke here
Our
where
standing
Ryan
joke. Yeah.
Ryan said our atmosphere pedal a long
Yeah.
time ago was
Oh, yeah.
97% done, and
This
then it
was-
took us another
This
year
was
after
probably
that to
back
finish
in
it.
2018 that I said that.
Yeah,
and
you really
it was
yeah.
not quite 97.
What do they call that?
Yeah.
Horse ahead of the barrel. I
Big
don't know,
time.
some random thing like that.
Sometimes it can be hard to know too. You know, you might think you got all these features done, right? There's all these check marks for all these systems that have to get working together, but it's really complicated. And when the pedals are like highly digital like ours, and they have a lot of programming and a lot of features that work together through a microcontroller, like through a computer who has to interface all these systems, make them all work together. There's surprises, just surprises on top of surprises, right? Like,
Yeah, we had a few surprises on this one too, but this one is also extremely complicated. There's
Yeah,
no screen on it, but
yeah,
but even so, there's
it actually
a lot
might
of
be
stuff to
more
work on.
complicated than Atmosphere.
I would say so too.
Even though it doesn't have the screen. The screen, I think you would say, isn't a super complicated part of the electronics design on a pedal like that. The screen is a lot of repeated stuff, a lot of commands that you do over and over again to do different things in different colors or whatever, but it's not super complicated. Tedious is how I would call
tedious for
screen
sure.
stuff.
Absolutely.
Is extremely tedious.
Most of what we do is tedious.
That's true, yeah.
This is probably tedious for all of you.
Yeah, for all you guys are probably
Yeah.
thinking, where's the Star Wars
Yeah,
games?
May the 4th,
That's why
right?
we're here.
Yeah.
Where's the games?
God.
Neil, should we hit
All
it?
right, yeah.
Let's
Let me just bring
jump
this
into
up
a game.
here.
If you guys have any questions that you just are dying to ask, fire away. We'll
Yep,
ask them
fire
as
away
we
with
go.
any questions at all.
And
Pedal related,
otherwise,
Star Wars related, whatever you
Yeah,
want.
like whatever you want. Exactly. There's totally. We could talk Star Wars for this.
Oh, you could talk
for
Star Wars all
sure.
day.
Let's jump in the game and then let's actually start talking Star Wars.
All right. I think I said
I have
Pod
lots to
Racer,
say.
so we're going with this one first.
Yeah, let's do I think the Pod Racer is a good one. It's fun. It's like pretty straightforward. We were auditioning Star Wars games last weekend. We were like, oh, you know, we have some emulators and options available to us, right? So we could play on a handful of consoles. And so we thought the SNES has some good ones. Whew.
They're so hard.
They are
Have you
so
ever
flippin'
played a
hard.
Star Wars game on like Super Nintendo
Same
or
as the NES
NES?
ones, yeah. Those,
Ugh,
those
unbelievable.
those are extremely unforgiving, punishing Star Wars games that, like, frankly, Neil and I aren't pro enough gamers to
No,
really have a
we're
proper
terrible
go at.
gamers, by the
In
way.
fact, when you see us play these N64 games, you're going to
Yeah.
be like, you guys aren't good enough for this console, maybe
Don't be
either."
expecting a speed run of any kind, because we'll be happy to make it through like a first level.
Ultimately, though, wouldn't that be cool, Neil, if we play some video games, then we ended up getting good at a couple of them, and then we had a speed run maybe that we cooked up, and then all of a sudden, it's GDQ, Dr. Scientist on the main stage, speed running a video game.
I think if maybe we did like a text parser
Oh, I
game,
like that
you know,
idea.
because then you just have
Yes.
to memorize the right things
Yeah,
to.
to the right types. at
Maybe
the
you
right
can get
time.
your copy
Yeah.
paste really down good, you know,
I'm
or
pretty
just
fast
hotkey
typer,
every
too.
instruction. You can just done.
Those are actually my kind of like my favorite era of
Yeah.
gaming too. So that would actually
Did you
really work. for
here?
me.
I'm gonna.
Yeah,
Okay,
jump
guys.
in.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna start
We
Star
could get
Wars here.
sidetracked easily
Yeah,
for 2
we
hours
could just
here.
talk
'cause, like,
forever.
yeah, there's lots to chat about, isn't there?
But anyways, if you're just joining us to see, we're up to 6
Yeah.
whole viewers now. That's
outta here.
unbelievable. What are we famous
Thank
now?
you very much. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Thank you.
We are playing
We appreciate
Star
it.
Wars Pod Racer.
Yeah, let's do some Pod Racer. Good old N64. What's your favorite N64 game? Did you grow up with N64 or is it new? Look at my other nephew. Come on, Brayden.
Jeez, it's a
thank you.
family reunion up in here. Where am
So
I? I think the
funny.
camera was best over here for this
Is
game.
Brayden asking me how 25 feels? That's hilarious. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
we already, sorry, Braden. We already said that Ryan, he
yeah.
ages in wizard years, so he's actually about 800 right now.
Oh, flip. 49 years old tomorrow. Oh, gosh, that's wild. You know, when you're young, like Brayden and Jack in there, you guys probably don't think about being 50 flipping years old. Like, I remember when my parents turned 40, I was like around 10. And I thought, oh my God, these guys are old. These two are the oldest people ever. And it's wild that, like, now I'm on the doorstep of 50. It's a number that is so big when you were young.
Right, we're gonna start a new.
Yeah, what are you gonna?
Yeah.
Gonna be Anakin, or are you gonna be?
Well, first I have to name our character.
Do you have to
I
be
think we get
Anakin?
3 initials. No. You can choose somebody else. We're gonna go.
Young Anakin's cool though. He's cool. I actually thought those parts of the like the prequels, the pod racing parts were actually maybe some of the best parts of the prequel. movies.
I saw Star Wars Episode 1 in theaters when it came out. And I was
Yeah.
something like, oh God, when was that?
It was
2001?
I was gonna say
2000?
yeah,
Something like that.
possibly even 99.
Oh, was it?
Was it 99?
I thought it was.
Phantom Menace
Maybe it
came out?
was. Yeah.
Let us know.
But I was in elementary school, and I remember
He was young.
me and my brother got called down to the office, and they said that my mom
Because
was
your
here
mom
to
was
pick
there to
us
get
up,
you?
and
Frig, that's awesome.
it seemed like there was like some kind of emergency. But then she was like, "Oh, we got to go see Star Wars. It's out in theaters."
The emergency is, what was
So,
Lucas doing here, hey?
Yeah, enjoy your 800th, he says. Yeah.
Thanks, Raiden. I love you too. Thanks, Raiden and Jeff.
Yeah, I
Thank you
remember
very much.
in theaters, I think it was Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was out at the same time.
Yeah.
And
A good movie.
there was, of course, a lineup of people waiting for Star Wars for the theater to open. And when the theater guy came out, he made an announcement. He said, "Sorry, everybody, we didn't get Star Wars." And, of course, everybody's freaking out. And he said, "Don't worry, though. We have plenty of tickets for Spider-Man." Everyone was all angry. But then he was like, "No, I'm just kidding. We have Star Wars. Of
That's
course we do."
hilarious. Messing with crowds.
Yeah.
That's just fun.
That was a risky move,
A
honestly.
risky move, yeah.
So we tried, I think we tried Odie Mandrell, I think is who we tried last time.
Okay.
It felt like his steering was bad, which his
It was
turning is
hard.
very low.
Now,
so
all these pod racers are the same concept, right? Where you have a pilot sitting with a control panel tied to two gigantic engines.
correct.
It's a crazy dangerous looking setup that they have.
So
hey?
you might as well put a child in it. And
Yeah,
that
it's
sounds like the
perfect
right thing
for a
to do.
child. Yeah.
Do you want to go with Anakin? Oh, good
Absolutely.
old little Darth
Let's
Vader.
do little Anakin.
He's gonna grow up to slaughter children, so he's a good choice. Let's
he
start
may-
with the war criminal.
Flippin' Anakin. He made some bad decisions.
Yeah, I don't think we get to play as Sabalba yet. I think maybe you like win
You gotta
racers as you
earn
go
that.
through.
You gotta
yeah.
earn that. Yeah.
But here we go. Do you want to inspect our vehicle? Do you want to take a
Yeah.
look at it?
Yeah, just
See
do,
what it
just
looks
do a
like?
walk
Here you go,
around
guys.
beforehand.
Look at
It's nice, isn't it?
it's flashing.
Look at
some
those
colors.
engines.
Oh, look.
So, you know, sometimes the engines are in front of the driver, and sometimes they are, or they're always in front.
You know,
I forget if there's
I
like
think
the
they're
only
always in
one way
front.
for the pod racer to work.
what
but-
I really liked about Star Wars, and especially in the prequels, was the sound effects.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I remember there's like a beam that goes in between here, right? There's like a
Yeah.
purple
Yes.
beam. Yeah, it's got the cool like
It has a good sound.
you
Yeah,
know?
a really highly electrified sound.
All right, I'm good with that vehicle. That looks like a vehicle.
I know people complain a lot about the prequels, and obviously, I mean, it's hard to not complain about Jar Jar, but like, there's a lot I
Misa
enjoy about
likes
the
Jar Jar.
prequels, and who does?
Misa.
Oh, Yusa
Does
crazy.
Yusa like Jar Jar?
Misa not so sure.
Yeah.
Oh, frig. I don't know. I like Star Wars movies always have an element of
There's that
comedy in
beam,
them.
that
but
purple
man,
beam.
There's your beam. Yeah. There's your plasma. All right. We did a little test run before we fired up the stream, and we managed to hit 12th position.
Yeah, we
12
got
out of 12.
it took us 27 minutes to do our first lap because we forgot it.
We forgot we were.
We just left
had
it on.
Yeah.
We went and had some food,
Yeah.
and
Uh,
I'm doing terrible.
This
already.
seems-
Well, it's better than the last guy.
It's like tighter
Anakin
than
is
the
way
last
better
guy.
than
Yeah.
Odie Mandrell, because I mean I'm just chock full of
enough, yeah.
midichlorians.
I was just gonna say it to all of your midichlorians.
That's that's the secret to pod racing. Now this is pod racing.
I guess really that's what a lot of people's big complaint about the Phantom Menace is, isn't it? Is they took
All the
they
Jedi
took
mythology.
the force out of being
Yeah,
open to
now
anybody,
it's
and
just
now it's
like
open to somebody
now
whose
it's just a
biology
disease.
is right. Yeah,
It's
now
a little
it's like, oh,
kid's disease.
Do you have the bugs in you?
Yeah,
Well, then you will
I'm
be a
just
Jedi.
full of bugs. The force bugs. Oh, well,
Ooh.
I just saved the whole galaxy from Darth Vader.
Is this one of those games that only has one easy setting, or is this one that has, you know?
I don't know, but I'm
yeah.
sure that you're not
'Cause-
supposed to hit all the rocks.
Did we pick the wrong difficulty mode?
I mean, I am in first though.
Oh yeah.
I'm killing myself and it.
Yeah, you are. Nah, that's a pretty good game.
So all of Star Wars, Ryan. What's your favorite Star Wars character?
Character?
Yeah.
That's actually a really hard question. For one thing, I would say.
Yeah. Okay, let's
Um,
narrow it down. Your favorite from the original three, like 4, 5, 6.
4, 5, 6, easy one, I would say. And you know, actually, this might even count for 1, 2, 3 for me too. I always really liked Obi-Wan.
Wow.
As a
he's
kid,
cool.
I just really, I don't know. I like how he enters the fray. You know, like how he sort of
Obi-Wan.
I like when he cuts that guy's arm off at
Yeah,
the bar
yeah.
when like Luke doesn't know what's going on and Obi's already like doing badass stuff. I don't know. I guess that kind of like elderly master has always kind of and now as an that's just a joke, as an elderly master.
Yeah,
But I'm
as an
not.
800-year-old
Just kidding,
man.
just kidding. Yeah,
As
I
an
don't know.
800-year-old space wizard, I cannot get through that little.
I always
gap.
liked Obi. I always thought he was really cool.
Yeah.
I always thought he was such a even in the prequels, he's such a wise Jedi.
My favorite Obi-Wan
Yeah.
quote is "Of course I know him. He's me."
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great quote.
Yeah, it's a shame that actor later on would be like, I wish I hadn't made those Star Wars movies.
Oh, really? I
That's
didn't know that.
Yeah, Alec Guinness
Or did he
considered
did he
those
just
like
get like
a blight on his
typecast
career.
and
I think didn't really. Maybe I'm talking out of turn, but I think that was the case. That he wasn't exactly super stoked on having been part of that space saga.
I mean, I did hear that they pretty much all got diarrhea in the desert, so I can see the downside to filming Star
That
Wars.
desert filming probably was
Especially
tough,
because
yeah.
like when they did the first movie, no one really knew it was going to be such a hit, so
No.
they probably kind of all felt like they're just kind of wasting their
Yes,
time
they were
getting
just goofing off for like maybe
dysentery
nothing.
in the
Yeah,
desert.
yeah, just to have a lot of diarrhea.
It's also
eh?
where we shot our music video.
Yes. I imagine some of you guys watching right now have watched that too, and thank you very much for checking out our other videos. We really appreciate that too.
Yeah, let us know if you've been enjoying the goofy videos or if we should be more serious.
Yeah, we
I
have
died
now made 7 silly videos, like since last November, since like last Black Friday, and that was sort of the direction that we wanted to take the YouTube channel in.
Yeah,
and,
the thing,
and the videos, is
big thing is
make
neither
silly
of
stuff.
us are particularly good at playing guitar, so
we're not
it's
looking
like,
to show
you
off.
know,
We're
if
not
we do a
virtuosos.
pedal demo, it's kind of like, well, why are we doing this when someone can do it so much better? We could just
And, yeah.
send it off to like, I don't know,
So many people like we're
RJ
happy to-
Ronquillo or
it says
something.
to Brian.
Look at that first, by the way.
Brian did such
Yeah.
an awesome job showing off the Fraz searching for tone. That was a really nice Fraz video, a really good one.
Yeah. Oh,
Thank you.
and he loves the goofy
Yeah,
ones.
like
oh, I
that.
guess we won't
Yeah,
send
they
you
were
anything
gonna-
then. We don't need
Yeah,
you.
then we're gonna keep the goofy ones.
Yeah. No, yeah, we appreciate that.
Thanks, Brian.
Here, Ryan, I'm going to pass you off to level 2.
Oh, nice, thanks.
You get the
okay.
next race.
Cool. This crazy controller, you guys remember the N64 controller with the three?
All 3 hands can
Yeah,
fit
the
on
all
there.
3 hands hold on to it. Yeah.
It was made for Star Wars. All those
Yeah, very
3-handed
cool.
aliens.
Do I have to like do anything special here?
I think you just select race 2.
Race 2. Let's
Yep.
do it. What are we?
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
And then I think you can. Well, you already hit start, but I think
I
you can
did,
like
yeah.
repair your vehicle and stuff.
Maybe
but
I wish I would have done that. Hey.
that's okay. I mean, we're just gonna die anyways.
Yeah, we are.
This is a very ugly
'Cause,
colored
yeah.
level. Look at that.
Yeah, this actually is kind of weird looking, isn't it? But
I love how you steered right for the big object in the middle.
well, they did take my driver's license away for a reason.
Yeah, you need some better glasses.
This, I do need. That's actually a big part of my problem sitting in front of small screen stuff is that I don't see that good, and I'm not wearing.
Yeah,
my
and I think you could use a few more pixels in the N64 too.
I should have put my glasses on.
A few
for
more
today.
polygons. Yeah.
They're out in the truck. Is a problem, but like, yeah, I probably should have them on today. But also, I would be the first to say that I'm not a great video gamer. I have played video games since I was like 2 years old.
One or
I've
two.
just never
yeah.
been good at them. Yeah, my parents actually were gamers. My mom and dad had a Atari 2600 right from the very
Yeah.
earliest days, and my mom thought that like computers were very important. And so when I was like, I don't know, 8 years old, she got me an Atari 800 XL computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where I would do most of my gaming as a kid was PC gaming. Because then after the Atari, then we got the IBM compatible that everybody, moves to, like 386 Pentium based kind of things, and that's where I would have done a lot of video games. And back in my era of the early 80s of gaming, you typed in everything. So you'd be typing in right now, Pod Racer hit wall, Pod Racer explode, like. But I really loved like Sierra games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quest for Glories, King's Quest, Police Quest. Every
Yeah.
Sierra game was a quest back in the day.
Yeah.
Hey,
All sorts of questing.
Yeah, even Leisure Suit Larry was at some kind of quest, and I
Yeah.
like those ones too.
I think my dad played video games,
Yeah?
mostly PC gaming too, but
That's
only a
cool.
little bit. I only remember when I was really young, but he actually played Star Wars games. He had
Neat.
Rebel Assault was
Oh,
the one
yeah.
that he played, and I remember playing it with my brother every now and then. We played with the joystick. But the second or third level or something was flying the Millennium Falcon through all these tunnels with pipes everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And we could not beat
couldn't
it.
do it,
So
yeah.
we were pretty much just played level 1 over and
Oh,
over
man.
and over and over.
It
But
was
it still
wild.
felt like the greatest thing of all time.
It was wild back in the day how you might get a game, spend a lot of money on a game, right? Spend $50,
Yeah.
$60 back in the 80s on a video game, and then you can't beat the first level.
Yeah.
Or
Or it sucked. Yeah.
Or it was crap. Or both, right?
Yeah.
It sucked and
All
you
of
were
the
and
above.
it was impossible. Yeah. Your turn.
Okay.
I came in 12. In case you guys weren't paying attention to the racing, I came in 12 out of 12 there.
Nice.
So yeah, that's going to do wonders for our overall ranking on this pod racing circuit.
It's also the amount of younglings that Anakin kills. 12 out of 12.
We're having a hard time letting Anakin off the hook for that. Aren't we?
I mean, yeah.
I in retrospect, I don't think he should have done it.
The
It was a
problem
bad
was
move.
is you didn't play as Clegg Holdfast.
I wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to unlock him though, don't we?
Oh,
Ah, yeah.
listen for that Watto.
Yeah. He's mad at me, isn't he, Watto? Yeah, Watto's telling me I hosed up his
Dudbolt. Look at that guy.
And number 1 there, Team Toe.
Team Toe.
Pod racing.
Yeah, and my mom played games too. And actually, she was really into Myst.
Oh yeah,
the Myst
that's
series.
awesome.
So I remember playing Riven, the second one, quite a bit, and not understanding a single puzzle.
Myst was probably one of the most.
But it was just like it was so immersive, to like walk around in a 3D world, and it was scary for some reason, even though it was not a horror game.
But it's ominous.
Yeah, it's like every corner you go around, you're expecting to be like murdered. But
now Myst is probably like the most shipped video game.
Yeah, the first
one.
Because
it was a pack-in with Windows, right? With like Windows 95.
I didn't know that actually.
You bought Windows, you got Myst back in the 90s, and so they shipped millions and millions of copies of Myst back in the day. And I think, as far as like the first CD-ROM games go, it might have been one of the most ones out there.
Do you want to buy a Pit Droid?
Yeah,
I think we should.
Yeah. We should get a handful.
Just sauntered off. I don't know if we bought him or if he just left.
Maybe
we got this guy. Is that one ours or did that one? Yeah, maybe he was just like, I'm out of here. I've seen how many times you die. I'm not getting into that.
Yeah, it would be a mistake to sign on with our crew, wouldn't it?
All right, here we go. The track favorite is Team Toe.
You beat this game back in the day?
So here's actually a little story, another childhood story. I had this game for PC. Not for N64.
Okay.
So I had it for PC, but my computer couldn't run it. So I held on to this game for about 5 years before I had a computer that could run it.
Honestly, I really struggled back in the day too with my computer being able to run the games that I wanted to play. Like,
I mean, I was so young too that I didn't understand the specs on computers.
No.
So it was just like. Al says Atmosphere 2 needs a hidden text-based RPG. We actually were going to do that.
We had like a choose your own adventure kind of idea for the next video game, because we thought that would, because you could make simple graphics, right? You could do like simple outline graphics for the image of the novel or game, and then have in like
four different options of like what you could do, and then you choose it. So some of them lead to death, some of them lead to winning,
and it would have been a much more actual like real game that we would have put in it, because if like,
I just died because I was looking at this guy's name, Blurrillas. Is that like,
hey Blurrillas, welcome, man. That's one of my pals from ILF.
Right on,
back in the day. That's awesome.
I just slammed in the same thing I made fun of you for crashing into.
Yeah, well,
but I was just captivated by all these Blurrillas.
My driving was pure shit on my
sure
round.
was.
I suck at it, and honestly,
this is very hard.
I never played any N64 games. Okay, I never played any. This console totally skipped me, because I was like, how would it have gone for me?
Old is what he's
meaning. Because I'm thinking back in the day of my gaming, like it was Nintendo when I was 10, and then Super Nintendo came out when I would have been more 14, 15 or whatever, and that lasted until I graduated high school, still playing Super Nintendo. And then in 1997, that's when PS1 came out, and that to me was like maybe the most important. I wasn't a kid then. I was like, how old was I in 1997? 20. so like I was old already
6,
then.
So it was
21.
Look at that, I got first.
21 even, and
even though I died twice again.
Yeah.
No,
how did you come in first again?
Because I'm a pro. I'm a real gamer.
You're a real gamer. Do you want to do the next one? You want me to?
I could do it. Yeah,
you could do it. Better.
Oh, there's the guy we bought.
Oh yeah.
We own him. He is our slave.
I was just gonna say how.
Oh look, I think this means we won this guy. So
nice.
now we can play.
Do you get a new car even? That would be cool.
a new car.
Did you have PS1? Did that one mean much to you?
My brother got a PS1, but we never had a system as it came out.
Okay.
So like,
yeah.
We were not poor, but we always got stuff way longer. Like I remember I had a Super Nintendo that I got from my cousin Eric. Shout out to the one cousin I can remember his name.
Hey, Eric.
My cousin Eric gave us a Super Nintendo, and we played that probably up until the end of the 90s. Yeah. So to me, I thought that was a current video game system, right? It was like brand new still, even though I think that ended in like 94, something like that.
Yeah, they winded it down. Yeah,
because I think Star Fox or something was one of the last games when they added the 3D stuff into the cartridges. Yeah. But so for me it was like we got a PS1, but I think by that time it was nearing PS2 time. Yeah,
and I never got a PS2.
So we did play PS1, but I don't remember having many games for it. I think we rented some games.
I feel like PS1 games really like like as far as PC games were very defining for me, like the text parsers and the Sierra stuff as a kid. But then as a young adult at 20 or 21 or whatever, those PS1 games, they were so cool.
See, I was just too young for that,
Symphony
but
of the Night,
I would have loved to play
Siphon
Resident
Filter,
Evil, but
Metal Gear Solid,
I would have been
like,
terrified.
just,
I was like just
yeah,
a little tyke.
Resident Evil was quite actually intense at that time. Same with the first Silent Hill. I remember being
Yeah, absolutely.
pretty intense about the first Silent Hill.
Think I can beat this worm guy?
I do. Yeah. I really do.
I think he'd be good around corners.
Absolutely.
Atmo: The Quest for Ryan.
Oh, I love it.
It's a good name, Al.
It's a good name, yeah. Imagine, though, if we did write that Choose Your Own Adventure game for that. That would actually be really...
Would be good.
That'd be pretty cool. There will be an atmosphere again. That pedal's not retired. It's just that it's like...
No, we've talked a million times about how we should bring that back.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we did in it that, looking back, we could have done a lot better. And
it was very hard for us to bring that pedal to life.
Yeah, so at this point, it's like if we wanted to make it again, it would be easier to start from scratch.
That's
so,
where we are with it, is that we don't think we can cobble it back to cobble it
into
a new form.
It would end up being a new pedal regardless. Al just said something, but I can't read it.
Says that
I'm
Neil's
too busy
save
trying
me
not to
from a
die.
dungeon commanded over by the evil Pod King.
Yeah, it looks like it. Pod, is that like POD, the band?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
The like Christian metal band?
No, I think Al means
from the 90s?
the bean-shaped guitar processor.
Man.
Those red little bean guys.
Oh, I can't believe I made it through that.
Or pod racing, because it's all pods. As, wherever you look, it's pods, right? Like,
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Flippin' Belt and Brick, good one, Al. Oh man, that's actually something that Neil and I have. Neither of us have ever made a Belt and Brick.
Well, I did make
one.
a single, a singular reverb pedal ages ago.
I actually like the sound of the Belt and Bricks, by the way.
Sounds fine.
Yeah,
if you didn't
fine.
know, it's actually just made of 3 PT2399 delay chips.
Yeah, 3 delay chips. They got them gooped into that black stuff.
If you ripped it open, there's just a bunch of little SMD
years
stuff
ago,
in there.
some people were like,
check out that air.
They must have been on like
death.
free stomp boxes, because they just were like, we got to find out what the hell is in this thing. And so so they grinded away all the goop and revealed that it's 3 PT2399 delay chips, which is an excellent delay chip. That's the heart of our Sunny Day delay.
Yep.
Which is a delay chip that does about 1 second of delay. Really noisy, grainy, lo-fi repeat at 1 second, but I love the sound. Frankly.
Second boss is a clone. Oh, he'd be a centaur, right?
Al knows his
We'd have to
pedals,
fight a centaur.
Yeah, we do. Flipping clones. I shouldn't say. I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't actually know that much about them. I've never been in front of a real one.
Yeah, I've played a Chinese clone of one that I ordered off Amazon, I think. And it was fine, but they it had a charge pump in it, right? Because it runs off 18 volts, and there's several kind of charge pumps you can get, and there's like some that run at a lower frequency, and that's what it came with. So as soon as you plug it in, you just hear a constant whine because there's a high pitched frequency going all the time.
Yeah, a charge pump, if you're not familiar, is a way that you can double the voltage in a circuit with a chip. So say you wish you had 18 volts in the circuit, but you're stuck with 9 volts coming on the guitar power supply. A charge pump it runs at a high frequency of oscillation, switching a capacitor, basically putting it to power and off back over really, really fast. And what that does is let that charge up to a higher voltage, which then can become a second voltage rail for you with very low current, but really useful for, when you need that different voltage rail. In the dusk, we use a charge pump not for higher voltage, but for a negative voltage, because you can also use it to give yourself a -9 rail to your +9 rail. Folks, that's gotta hurt. Yeah, you're not gonna bounce back from that one probably. This is a pretty good game. How'd we get on? Oh yeah, talking about the Klon.
Yep.
I've always been curious about those gold ones with the Centaur on them. I mean, I'd love to sit with one and a guitar amp and just get to take her away and
these
see
guys
what do you think.
don't want to just drive slower. It'd be a lot
Yeah,
safer.
what are you at, 5? You're actually still holding up though.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I
my
think I need to
12
get top 3.
Was
Yeah,
terrible.
ouch, that's for sure.
It hurt, yeah.
But don't feel too bad. I'm a war criminal.
That's true. You're still Anakin. He's bad. He's bad.
If you murder him as a child, it's easier, right?
Did you do your favorite Star Wars character?
No, I didn't.
Who's yours? It can't be Picard.
You
must
want
pick
to
a different one.
You want to do original trilogy, same as yours?
If you wanted to open it up, because I was thinking, I would like to go back to talking about that with the Clone Wars and all the cartoon series and everything. But yeah, hit me with your favorite, because there's a lot of good Star Wars.
I like the Gonk droid, the one that looks like a trash can. He's one of my favorites.
That's
I also like, and here's a little. probably everybody knows this already, but IG-88.
Yes.
He's the
He's a
droid
bounty hunter.
He was in
Dangerous as
Mandalorian
hell.
recently.
He's in Mandalorian. He's dangerous, man.
His head is used as a prop in many, many, many scenes as many different other objects.
That's awesome.
So if you watch Star Wars, you can find like
not even droid stuff.
Yeah,
at the
the humidity farmers in Tatooine.
Yeah.
All those humidity things are made out of IG-88s. So just his head is just that object is used as like a million different props.
Look at that nice comment.
Can I make it to the?
Thank you, Guitar Channel. Thank you very
final
much.
lap. I still have
Thank
one
you
more
for
to
joining
go.
us today. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Can you read that out for me? What did he say?
Says, happy birthday again, Ryan. Oh, that's Darren Sermon, isn't it? Thank you. Thinking about games, he was an original Nintendo fan. I agree. Man, those games were so freaking hard though. Like.
Yeah.
Metal Storm, Dash Galaxy in the Insane Asylum or Alien Asylum. Frick, that one doesn't ring a bell to me. Metal Storm does though.
Yeah. Did we play Metal Storm on your arcade? I think we did.
I think we might have, yeah. Because Neil and I love the like two-player games, two-player like run-and guns.
Yeah, those
and stuff that you play
run
on
and guns,
arcade
beat 'em
games.
ups.
Yeah.
Those
Maybe
kind
next
of
time
things.
we'll do something like that.
Yeah.
Do run-and because we could HDMI out of the arcade.
Totally.
Because it's a Raspberry Pi.
We just have to
based.
like shift stuff around a bit.
But we can play lots of
We can
different
do
games
that.
around here.
I feel like we probably do some more live streams in the future. You
were too young to
pretty
spend
fun.
time as an arcade kid.
There was an
Okay.
arcade in my hometown, it was more like in the era of ticketed games though, where you win prizes. Not that cool 80s like playing for quarters and mostly like
I really
game
love it, yeah.
games.
That era meant a lot to me. I loved being in a mall in a dark arcade. Whee.
Oh, I made it.
Oh, you're still number one though. Or no,
Am I?
you're 7. No,
Yeah.
sorry.
5.
I'm not good at reading numbers.
5. Thank you very
Don't know
much.
all the numbers. Yeah, I'm still learning them. I loved being in arcades as a kid. They were magical.
There was like a lot of I kind of got like mystified by some of those arcade
Yeah.
games. Like the
Me
one
too.
that my arcade had that I really liked was Time Crisis.
Absolutely.
One of the shooter.
Yeah, those shooter
Yeah.
light guns. Yeah.
And also my arcade didn't have it, but House of the Dead was
Yeah,
like the
those
other
are
one that
really
I
good
really
ones.
liked those shooting games. Where you shoot down to the side to reload.
Arcades
just,
were really awesome back
Yeah,
in the
really
day.
fun. Possibly just because I grew up playing Duck Hunt on
Sure.
NES. That's one of the games I played many
Yeah.
times. I loved it.
When the original NES came out, I mean, it just changed everything, right?
Sure did.
Like
yeah.
it was awesome. I was so
Oh.
excited to get it. You were saying you didn't get those consoles when they came out. I think my parents got me one the year that it came out.
The NES.
The NES, yeah, because I was 10 when it came out, and I believe it came out in '86, and I was 10 in '86, and I think they got me a flippin' Nintendo when it came out,
Yeah.
which was my parents were kind of like that, yeah.
I think I got. I feel like N64 was it '97 that it came out.
Around right. Yeah.
Rutgers, that was the arcade. So Rutgers had this game called I think it was Surfin' Safari, where it was like a coin shooter. So you drop a little coin, has a spring-loaded thing, and it shoots the coin. You're supposed to shoot it into places or hit stuff in the game, and then you win tickets. But basically, it had a big tiki face on the back with 4 teeth,
Cool.
and in front of those teeth was a big bucket. So people would shoot, all the coins would fall into the bucket, right?
Yeah.
And then if you hit the 4 teeth, the bucket would drop. So like 100 coins would fall down and you win a ton of tickets. So I used to walk by Rutgers on the way to my job during high school. And I was so good at that game that I would just walk in, drop in 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, shoot all 4 teeth, drop them all, take all the tickets and walk to
I'll
work.
just go
So I'd stop in for like 3 minutes,
Right
win a
on.
bunch of tickets and just save them up.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah.
Man, I was the opposite when I was young. I sucked at arcades, and I would feed quarters
That
in
was
and lose.
the
lose,
only
lose.
thing I was good at was that game. That was the only one.
Yeah.
And then I've seen them recently where they have like a trigger instead, so you don't have the spring thing, which means
Oh, yeah.
you can't choose how hard you shoot it.
That changes
Impossible.
that
Yeah,
cha-
so
totally changes the
It was
game,
just
yeah.
that one. Lacey says, "Happy
Oh,
birthday."
Hey, Lace.
What is Auntie cooking for you? She's leaving us, actually.
Yeah, she's
We are just sitting here. We had chicken nuggets
Yeah,
and
we
some
did.
cold burritos for
having
lunch.
A pretty low key day, actually,
Yeah.
Lace.
Happy birthday.
Tanya and Becky are headed into Penticton, right, for their swim, and so no, I don't really get a fancy. On Friday night we did birthday dinner with Mom, so Mom, Becky, and then me and Tanya, and we had pizza from Cleopatra's. Nasser's in town. He's open again, so yeah, we had that. With the chicken shawarma, it's a Turkish restaurant, right? But he's got like all kinds of really cool Middle Eastern food, like awesome falafels, and he's got awesome Indian stuff too. Like the shawarmas and everything. And the dude cooks a mean pizza too, so you can just go there and get world cuisine.
Oh yeah, I forgot. There's this Streamlabs bot. I put a poll on
Nice.
which is better, Star Wars or Star Trek, and you can vote. I think you type !vote
It's tough.
and then Star Wars or Star Trek,
tough.
all one word.
Brian said something there too. Put me out.
Oh yeah, SNES put me out. PS was nail in the coffin. Too many buttons.
It's true. I mean, it does change. But you start with that 2-button controller on the NES, right? And now by the time PS1, it's lousy.
Well,
with
this guy's
buttons. They're all over
Atari.
the
He only
place.
gets a joystick and a button.
Yeah, I was
Everything
good
else
with
is
that
too
too.
complicated.
Just the joystick, just. As someone who's seen, I have watched all of Star Wars. I've watched everything that there is to watch for
The
Star
holiday
Wars.
special.
I mean, back in the day, I don't watch it nowadays, but I have seen it, and I've watched everything for Star Trek.
I was gonna make that my joke that my favorite Star Wars character was like
one of Chewbacca's
the
grandma
Chewbacca
or
mom or
something,
something, but I can't remember any of their names.
God, that was mental. I don't know if I could pick.
You know what I really loved
Between
was
Star Trek and Star Wars.
the Droids cartoon when I was a kid.
Yeah,
And actually, I still love the theme song. Don't leave our stream, but go check it out later. It's all on YouTube for free. I think you can just go watch it.
I think having gone through all of the Star Wars stuff, that the animated Star Wars stuff is actually some of the best Star Wars content that they have. Like Clone Wars, Bad Batch. This is like top-notch Star Wars content, with like the characters are totally awesome. All of it's awesome. It's really good. Star Trek versus Star Wars is tough. Al's like Star Trek. Brian's like Star Wars.
It's a different vibe,
The vibe is different.
Because Star Wars is more like it's like hanging out with your friends and having fun. Star Trek is more of like a thinker, That's what I think.
Here's a big takeaway from the two. Okay, from having
Hit me
Star
with it.
Wars. Say you're born into Star Wars galaxy, right? You're born into a tough life.
Oh yeah.
You're working your ass off. You're grinding against the Empire. Your planet might just get entirely blown up. The whole thing.
Yeah.
In a moment. There's so much shit on Star Wars that is such an unfair existence. Star Trek, you tell a computer if you want pizza for dinner. You tell the thing what kind of clothes you want to wear that day. What if you wanted a Clone Centaur, you could be like, make me one of those, please. In Star Wars, it's a hard life. In Star Trek, you don't even have to have a job.
Totally. Yeah, that's the nice thing about Star Trek.
It's a very big difference.
I mean, as soon as you have that replicator where you can make food, you don't need to do anything. You're done.
Nothing.
As long as you have one of them,
every
you're
day
set.
is just you tell it what sort of entertainment you want and what you'd like to snack while you enjoy it, and that's your everyday.
So getting back to my favorite Star Wars character, because the
it's hard
Gonk
to
droid
get
is pretty
sidetracked.
cool, but
Yeah,
I
he
think my
was.
favorite, and I don't really have a good reason why, but growing up, it was always Greedo. I thought Greedo looked so cool. His little giant beady eyes and his weird spiky green head.
Did you hate when they retconned in him shooting first?
I didn't see that forever because
So you
I
didn't
had
know.
I had VHSs that had the I guess original.
Yeah.
And so I never really saw it until later, and it had already become a joke by then. So I didn't really get to see it. So it
Because
didn't
for all
bother
of
me.
us, I think that us original fans, we liked that Han just shot him out of the blue first.
Return of the Jedi was the first Star Wars movie I saw in theater. It will always hold a special place in my heart.
Agreed.
Yeah, I always loved how
I agree.
Luke's all mopey because he just his dad was finally nice to him and then died, and then right next to him there's a bunch of Ewoks just partying and going woohoo. So yeah, that was always
I
fun.
liked it a lot too.
But yeah, Return of the Jedi was good. I liked the Ewoks. I know there's some hate for Ewoks out there, but I thought they were awesome.
Al, look at Al though, sci-fi to fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I personally might pick fantasy over sci-fi. I think Lord of the Rings.
He's an 800-year-old wizard. Chewbacca's uncle. Yeah.
Chewbacca's uncle.
That's definitely a good Star Wars
Thank
character.
you for joining us, by the way. Much appreciated.
Yep.
Flip. I don't know. That's hard. Star Wars though, those lightsabers, that Force. It's powerful stuff. It's hard to not get into that too.
The real answer is you should like both.
Yeah, just watch
there's no
it all.
reason
Just watch
not
all
to,
that good
you know?
stuff. As much space stuff as you can.
I feel like
it's cool.
Star Trek is more like adult to me, like
Yeah.
it's more thought provoking, whereas Star Wars is more like a pizza party with your friends.
Star Trek is more socio-political. It has a lot of science discovery, science exploration.
There's a lot of the
experimentation.
same episode over and over, kind of just redone, but it's good.
A lot of more of like cultural ponderings, where Star Wars is just sort of like is in every crazy culture, but you don't really ponder them at all. They're just,
it doesn't really matter. You got lasers, pew pew.
They're all drinking blue milk.
Yeah.
It's like
Earlier we were talking about sound effects too, and I just want to say the best sound effect probably in all of cinema was in was it Attack of the Clones episode 2, where they're flying around in an asteroid field and Obi-Wan I think is flying away, and then they drop that sonic
Right.
torpedo
Yes,
bomb
that
thing,
thinger.
and it all just goes completely
And it goes all
silent
silent. Yeah.
and boom. Yeah.
That was very cool.
That I saw that one in theaters, and
Yeah.
man, in theaters when it just goes perfectly silent is just bizarre. You know?
Now here's a tough
Very
Star Wars
cool.
question. Do you guys think that the 7, 8, 9 movies, where do you think they fit in terms of how good they are versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? With a lot of us probably thinking, oh, 4, 5, 6 are so special. That's the ultimate, right? That's what we can never.
Do you want my hot take on Star Wars?
Yeah.
Get ready to be flamed, but there's only 8 people watching,
Oh,
so I'm
they'll
not
go
gonna get
easy
that
on
flamed.
us, right? Yeah.
But I feel like 4, 5, and 6
Okay.
were lucky that they got released when they did, because I
Okay.
feel like if you go back and critically watch them, there's a lot of things to like about it,
Yeah.
but a lot of things don't live up to the hype. You
All
know,
right. Yeah.
like it's still awesome. I love
is
watching
pretty
all three of them.
awesome, though, yeah.
The main thing I love about those, I guess the main trilogy
the main ones,
is
yeah.
like the costuming.
Yeah.
Like the costumes and the practical effects on it are amazing, you know, and I think that's what really set it apart. But story wise, it's
It's
kind
just,
of goofy and
yeah.
kind of simple, and I don't know,
Simple and
a
unoriginal.
lot of dumb stuff
yeah.
on it, you know.
Classic hero's joy.
Yeah, and it's kind of,
journey or whatever.
let's
but-
call it basic.
Yeah, well,
but
fine, yeah.
To be fair, still I think those original 3 are still critically better than any of the others. But I feel like the new modern trilogy gets more hate than it deserves. I thought they were just kind of okay.
Yeah.
I feel like
They're okay. I don't
the
mind them.
biggest problem I
Yeah.
have with them is that the villains were not fleshed out enough. Kylo Ren, Snoke,
Just like
Snook,
yes,
Snooky,
Snoke,
Snooky,
yeah.
the evil Snooky.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're right.
they were
they're
just
more
kind of like
gangster
thrown
ones,
in there,
yeah.
and it was like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, it's like you don't feel anything about Kylo Ren except for he
Except
looks
he's
kind of
like-
goofy.
Yeah, and he gets like a little too mad, a little too easy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he wasn't threatening at all. It's like whereas Darth Vader seemed like, okay, you know, he's the bad guy. Kylo Ren was like,
Yeah, what's
you know,
with,
like
yeah,
somebody come pick
Yeah.
up their teenage son.
exactly,
over
and
here.
because of
Like,
who his
what's he
parents are
doing?
too, you just think like, oh,
Yeah.
this little guy, he's just off track. Yeah.
Totally.
I really liked in the number 7. What's that? The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Before when Rey is still just like a person hanging out on whatever desert planet she's on at that time, scouring around for crashed Empire cruisers and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And there's that part where she's like hanging out in one, doing her picking, trying to find some treasures and stuff. But it's lunchtime, and so she pulls out that thing. And you like add a little water or whatever, and then it makes a
Yeah.
bun. It makes this
Yeah,
big
yeah.
bun.
It's a little dehydrated bun.
This
Yeah.
eats this bun, and I always think, yeah, man, that's the Star Wars life I'm after. I want that kind of ready-made, fresh bun, because it's not like you get a fresh bun out of that. It makes it for you right
Yeah.
there. You know that was a good bun.
The other thing I thought was funny about Star Wars, and I mean, it's not even something that George Lucas hit at all, but I mean, it is based and almost just plagiarized off of a lot of other
Yes,
stuff.
it's a
Like,
build
and
up.
it wasn't that even that he like was plagiarizing
Nah,
stuff. It was like
just
an
inspired
homage
by
to
it.
all
Yeah,
those things,
exactly. 'Cause
like
those are
Flash
classic-
Gordon and
those
those
are classic
serials.
ideas too. Some of those,
Yeah,
some of those
exactly.
like, heroes saga or journey kind of
Totally.
ideas.
Yeah.
They're like
And-
they're classic.
And Kurosawa
Yes,
samurai
yeah,
movies, he
those
took a lot of scenes like
That's cool
almost
shit to be
directly out of
inspired
there.
by, yeah.
And I thought that was honestly cooler than lamer. I don't know.
I agree.
Some people I think
it's
kind of
cool, too.
discover that later and then think like, oh, that's disappointing, but it's kind of like how he set out to do it. It was kind of like part of the purpose of making that movie.
And I think nowadays is also a great time to be a Star Wars fan because you have, say, the awesome animated series Bad Batch, which just finished one of its seasons, right? So that's currently airing. You have Mandalorian, which is, I think, top-notch Star Wars, really entertaining, really cool. And then you got, like, right now, we're right in the middle of the second season of Andor. And Andor is, like, some of the darkest,
Haven't
grittiest
started
Star
it.
Wars stuff you're going to
Don't
see.
don't tell me
Oh, yeah, I
anything
won't
about
spoil it. I'll just tell you, it is dark. It is gritty. It is cool.
Yeah, I think
It's
that
really
like the
good.
new Disney series
Yeah.
series
Some
series.
people,
They're like the best thing for a long time that's come out of
yeah,
Star Wars.
I've enjoyed
my
a lot of
opinion.
the stuff a lot. Like, I mean, frig, The Mandalorian is fun.
Yeah,
as
I
hell.
honestly thought that
Yeah, fun as
I
hell.
had very low expectations for The Mandalorian. I was pleasantly
But
surprised.
it's like,
There were some
it's
things
cool.
where I kind of,
I like
but
its theme too.
overall, awesome.
Fun.
Yeah.
Good fun. Good clean fun.
Had IG-88 in it, so I'm
Right?
sold.
Yeah. Good homage to the bounty hunters.
Yeah, I was looking for the Gonk to write it, and
Whole
don't
bunch
think
of
I
them
saw
are in
him,
it.
but
No,
that's
but,
all right.
well,
I'll live without him.
There's a bunch of the bounty hunters are represented in the Mandalorian,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
I
to
like the
see.
lizardy bounty hunter guy.
Is that Dengar?
It might be.
A lot of the bounty hunters I relate to MC
I'm really
Chris
bad at
songs.
this.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
from,
yeah, yeah.
Like my Boba Fett song, my backpack's got jets. He has a whole bunch, right? He has IG-58's 57 Chevy. He has Dengar's dump truck. These are good songs too. Like these are catchy Star Wars bounty hunter songs, and I feel like there's more. There's a couple more even than that I'm not thinking of right now.
So there's another N64 Star Wars game, Shadows of the Empire. Do you know much about that one, Ryan?
No, I don't.
So Shadows of the Empire was like after the main trilogy, before Episode 1, there had been like no new Star Wars stuff, right?
Yeah.
So everyone was like, it's just a wasted franchise, even though it's so popular. Everyone wants Star Wars, but Episode 1's taking forever. George Lucas is just doing nothing, right? So they basically just made like a whole series called Shadow of the Empire, basically.
Okay.
And there was his name is slipping me right now, but it's a really funny name, and Dengar just reminded me of it. It was like
they got good names in Star Wars.
Dash Rendar, I think his name was.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And so they basically like made all these stories that are in books. John Williams made a soundtrack for it, and there was a whole series of toys.
Yeah.
I think Al's heading out. It was good to see you, Al. Thanks for popping in.
Okay, thanks, Al. It was really nice to see you today. Thank you very much.
Go watch Star Wars.
Rest of your Sunday. Yeah.
I don't care if you like Star Trek more. Go watch Star Wars today.
Thanks, Al.
But yeah, they made this whole like extra series that had like all these extra characters, and they just had like nothing to do with the movies. And this is when I was like a kid, right? Because I was born after Star Wars was done,
Yeah.
So for me, I just kept finding all these action figures of these Star Wars characters, going,
like,
"Who is this?"
Guy,
and I watch the trilogy and like
like
scan the background. Where is this guy?
I think I was 2 when the first one came out, right? It came out in 1978. Is that right? The first Star Wars movie?
Yeah, you're only like 450 back then, something like that.
My mom took me to all of them in the theater back then because she's a huge
Had you
Star
just
Wars fan.
Crying the whole time, annoying everybody.
I don't remember. I don't remember being in the first one or Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
But we actually saw Return of the Jedi here in Penticton.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Because we used to holiday all the time in the Okanagan, and one summer, mom and I came down to visit her friend that lived in Penticton, and we went to the beach and had KFC. And then went to Return of the Jedi, and like, hell yeah, that was like a great childhood memory for me, and that's why Return of the Jedi is like really sticks with me too, as like and I love too that like those Ewoks were gonna eat C-3PO.
Yeah,
that's cool. They were gonna cook him.
I think obviously I didn't get to see any of the originals in theater. I wasn't alive.
He was too young.
But I did get to see all the prequels in theater. Like I told you the story earlier, seeing the episode 1 with my mom in elementary school. I remember seeing episode 2 with my friends. I went with them just like after school one time. Got to see all the Jedi murdering in that one. And then the third one I remember skipping class in high school to go see it. Sorry, Mom. I hope she's not watching right now.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. I got to go see that one.
Don't do it, Anakin. Whoa. I've got the high ground.
He did have the high ground. He should have listened.
He freaking smoked Anakin there.
You've turned her against me.
Oh, man.
You've done that yourself.
He flipping had the high ground. You don't just go at somebody who's got the high ground like that.
I hate you.
Frig. He's right. The world building, the sense of world building, I think that's true because, like, there's so much to Star Wars. That's what I love about the new stuff, like Andor and Mandalorian, that they show you stories that, like, don't even have a lightsaber in it, aren't related to the Jedi.
That's something I was going to say is because, they cool. made, what was the movie that they made fairly recent? Oh, no, Mom, I'm sorry. I did skip school to go see Star Wars Episode 3.
You got to get him in trouble. That's
you
bad.
pulled me out for Star Wars Episode 1, so you can't even blame me. You set a precedent. If Star Wars is out, you don't need school.
And you're such a good mom, and then this bad boy? How did it happen, eh?
Now look at me. I make guitar pedals.
Another Star Wars thing that I wonder if you guys watched.
Oh, hold on.
Skeleton Crew. Oh, sorry. I'll save it.
Oh, yeah, Skeleton Crew. But I haven't watched that one yet.
What are you doing, Pep?
There's a dog.
Pep is like.
They made in the new movies. This one didn't have Rey though, right? They made another one that was really good. And it was like it was kind of like a prequel movie, and it was the one where they had the Death Star plans.
Oh, Rogue
One. Yeah. Yes, that was my favorite of all the new movies, and that was part of the reason why is that it wasn't all Jedi focused. It was more just like Rebel Army focused. I'm 12 out of 12 right now. This one is hard.
You're copying my style.
Yeah,
coming in my place.
I also need glasses apparently.
Yeah, I liked the Rogue One too.
I really
good.
like when they go back to just like blasters and regular people.
Yeah, because there's like for most, if you think about the Star Wars galaxy, for most of the people living their daily lives in it, it's just blasters, blue milk, multiple suns, the Empire. There's no space heroes.
No.
There's no space wizards with their laser swords. Right? That's not a thing. It's your life is much more. It's much more down to earth than that. There's the boots of the Empire.
I really
and
can't
your
beat this
crap
worm
job.
guy. You told me I could beat this worm guy.
I really thought you could. Whoops, I keep hitting my mic. Sorry if that just made a big boom in everybody's earbuds. I didn't mean to. This is our first live stream, so
I think I
don't know how to do this.
killed Anakin more than he's killed children.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, I'm doing bad. I'm the real child murderer today.
Geez, that was... You know, you don't expect Star Wars to take a turn like that, do you?
No.
No, it was a little flippin' dark, wasn't it, when they did that? I remember thinking that, like, holy shit,
I saw a video recently of the guy who was like the youngling who got to say like, "What are we going to do?"
Yeah,
you know,
that
and
poor
that was
youngling.
he just volunteered to do that line. It wasn't even cast for him. Apparently they just asked all the kids who wanted to say the line, and he just said, "I will."
Do you remember in
did you see that?
Yeah, you nailed that.
Yeah.
I think it's the second of number 7, no, number 8. Maybe it's number 7 when they go to that big casino. That's like a big casino world with all the gambling
I remember
and everything.
that. Yeah.
And then at the very end of that scene, they show that little kid, and the kids are treated like shit, right? They're like slaves on this casino
the
planet.
idea is like maybe he's gonna be a Jedi or something.
And this kid walks out to go to his like slave master tells him get back to work, and this kid like, oh fine, walks out the door, and there's a mop leaning against the wall, and he reaches out to grab his mop, and it just so slightly comes toward him, like he pulled it, with the force. And then as he walks out, you were looking behind him, and it's all shadowed, and he holds his mop up, and it looks like a lightsaber.
It would have been great
cool.
if it had like zoomed out, and then his like boss was just there pulling a string attached to the mop, like, you idiot.
Yeah, stop. These guys like stop dicking around and use that other end of it, right? Like you're holding it wrong. But yeah, I like that scene. I thought that was a cool scene. I do like all the Star Wars stuff. Really. I'm a sucker for it.
Who got shafted in the in Star Wars was Darth Maul. In the movies, like, man, he was the coolest villain, and they only used him for like.
Are you familiar with his arc in the Clone Wars?
I am.
Okay, because he's a huge part of the Clone Wars. I don't want to do any spoiling.
That's why That's what was cool about the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
is that they like expanded on all those things that you
yeah.
didn't get from the movies.
Wasn't it pretty wild that Darth Maul got like a second chance at life as like a flippin', what would you even call that?
Yeah, like cyborg or something.
Like a cyborg spider?
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty scary, actually, isn't it?
Yeah. Star Wars horror.
That's Star Wars body horror.
Yeah. A Cronenberg Star Wars.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, that's a wild idea, Star Wars meets The Thing. Hey, that's a pretty wild idea, actually. Number 2, you could win this. I see you winning this.
I'm doing all right. Yeah. Am I on? I'm only on lap 2.
What are these 3s? Yeah, I didn't even notice. Yeah,
there's too many rocks.
It is a lot of
rocks. Who put all these in the course?
These rocks are rocking you. I wonder if the viewers would like to see a new Star Wars game. Are you ready for a different Star Wars game? Because we could switch.
We can definitely switch.
We were thinking Rogue Squadron too. Because Rogue Squadron is cool.
We can fly some X-Wings and get rid of Anakin.
Yes, we'll at least get to punish the Empire a bit.
And then you can stop watching me die on this ice planet.
I wanted to bring that up, Darren, about Solo. I thought that Solo was really, really good too. When he gets dumped in the pit with Chewbacca and they don't know each other, that is a great scene. And like that, I thought that was totally awesome, that movie, actually. Did you see that one?
No, I actually haven't watched Solo.
It's like a, prequel to Han Solo's story, like him and Chewbacca's meeting and everything, and it's freaking...
Like when they did, what was the Kessel Run?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, exactly. And Lando Calrissian's in that, too.
Yeah.
Because the Falcon was his.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that one. That was a good one. Thanks, Darren. I wanted to get to that one. I wanted to get to Skeleton Crew, too, because I actually really liked Skeleton Crew, too. Yes, it's a kid's show, and it is quite kiddie, but, like, it's totally awesome.
I'm just one of those guys who watches the exact same stuff over and over and over, and I never really watch anything new, so it takes me forever to see new stuff.
I like
I've watched the Droids cartoon like 8 times now.
It's classic.
And I still keep putting it on.
I like in Skeleton Crew, the main bad guy is a flippin' werewolf. There's a werewolf race in Star Wars. I forget what they're called. They're in other Star Wars things. Like, they pop up here and there, but they look like werewolves, and, like, that's awesome.
My brother can do a really good Chewbacca yell, so he'd always do that to me when I was a kid.
I'm a big fan of the Wookiees, man.
Yeah, I can't make that sound.
Very cool.
He's really good at it.
Very cool.
Ever seen that video of how they make all the sound effects in Star Wars? It's a really good video. You should look it up. I think it might have been like one of the special edition bonus features or something.
Yeah, I
He
would
talked
be
about
curious
making
how they
like
make
laser
a-
sounds, and
Yeah.
he'd take like a high tension wire and
Oh,
just
right,
hit it
and
so it would
hit
go like,
it,
and he'd
Yeah.
like mix that in with stuff.
The
It's
sound
really
of a
cool.
lightsaber is one of the greatest cinema sounds, if
Yeah.
you ask me. That
Ooh, am I
it's
almost
so
done
electric
here?
and
No,
like
this
it's
is still
so
lap 2.
dangerous
God,
sounding.
this is
Basically,
the longest,
it's grueling.
worst
Yeah, this is a grueling
I hate
one.
this race.
The gauntlet.
Stupid Anakin. Just force choke the other pilots.
I like Anakin in the Clone Wars too. He's a cool character.
Yeah.
Struggling with his dramas, you know. He's got a lot to struggle with. But yeah, big fan of the Star Wars movies. Big fan of the Star Trek movies and the shows. I never read any Star Wars books. They're all canon.
So I did, but I read a series. I don't think it was called Young Jedi. It was like a smaller young adults novel for
Cool.
not kids, but
Uh-oh.
did it
That's
again.
gonna
I've
hurt.
done it again.
Yeah.
But here's something that was really cool. So there's an episode of The Mandalorian where they
Yeah.
crash into like this planet that's all icy, and then there's a bunch
The
of spiders.
Yeah, that was
So
really scary.
those spiders
Thanks,
were
Darren.
on the
Thanks for
cover
coming
of
by.
this book.
Much appreciated.
And I knew about those spiders from
We
this
will.
book, so it was a big deal. That was
Yeah,
like,
that's
whoa.
actually lore. That's actually
Yeah,
canon.
and then
Yeah.
I was super surprised. I had to go. I think I was living with my brother at the time.
That was a
He'd say,
great.
like, oh, I saw the spiders. You remember that book? Do you remember this thing?
That was a really good episode of Mandalorian, I thought
It
too.
was, yeah. He
And
eats
how
all the
it
fish
was like
babies.
a horror episode, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it was
Oh,
good.
right. That's when he's eating those frog babies.
Yeah,
isn't
the
it?
frogs. Yeah, frog babies.
Right, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He snacks a whole bunch of their
So
children.
much like Anakin,
Yes. not
also some
yeah,
child murdering
dangerous
crimes.
to the youth. Yeah. What's with Star Wars? Hey, you don't want to be young in Star Wars,
I'm back to 9th, 11th.
but you would want to be young in Star Trek. Hey, like look at Wesley Crusher's experience on the Enterprise. No, he has an awesome engineering job as like a.
Here's
the
something
toddler.
weird about Star Trek. Why do they let families live on those
Yeah.
ships?
Well, that is, they're not supposed to get into much trouble, those ships.
True,
right?
but
They're
they do nothing but get in trouble.
But that's true. Every week they're getting in trouble. Do you remember how Wesley got taken away by like the smartest being in the
Yes,
universe? That was
I
pretty
do
cool.
remember that.
Yeah. That was pretty cool, I thought too. Thank you guys again for hanging out with us on this live stream. We really
I was going to
appreciate
say,
it.
I don't remember taking Wesley Crusher anywhere.
Yeah, I really always liked that character actually, because I was about his age when watching that show. I was younger than him, I think. I
All right.
really like Next Generation.
I
a
know
lot.
it's not Star Wars. What's your favorite Star Trek series? You guys in the chat too.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is the best Star Trek series?
I mean, you're gonna pick Next Generation.
Maybe not.
I think I'm gonna, because it was like just formative years,
Yeah.
and it was like everything you could have hoped for out of Star Wars or Star Trek, right? Like
There's
it
no
just was
backwards button.
Oh, you were gonna try that? Do some of that shit.
12 out of 12 again.
Jeez, what is going on with your racing career?
I'm nothing but consistent.
What are you gonna pick if not Next Generation?
So for me, it's probably original series.
Oh,
Because
okay.
That was what got me
Interesting.
most into Star Trek. Next
Yeah.
Generation is what I remember most
Yeah, like
from when I
watched
was a
the
kid
most
because
of,
it was
maybe?
it was
Yeah.
like on TV
Watched
the
a lot
most,
of it,
right?
yeah. It
Like
was
throughout the
always on, yeah.
90s and even into the early 2000s,
always
it was
watch
always
that,
there. And I remember it running like I think the Space Channel, at least in Canada.
Yes, I
I
remember
don't know if that
Canadian
even
Space
exists in
Channel.
the U.S.,
Yeah.
but in Canada we had the Space Channel.
Yeah,
And
it was good.
so whenever I was sick and stay at home, there was like a Star Trek
Yeah, there was-
marathon every
yeah.
single day. They would play original series,
was
Next
always-
Generation, Voyager, and Deep Space Nine, like
Always
all in a
something good
row,
on Space
every
Channel.
single time. And I think I always caught original series.
Yeah.
And then I'd watch some of Next Generation, and then I didn't know any of the characters in Voyager or Deep Space Nine, so I gave up.
I didn't like how
And
the
that's how it
fight
worked.
scenes looked in the original series. They just
Oh,
were
I
dumb
know, but that's
looking,
why I love it. When
like
he
him
fights the
pounding on those
Gorn,
dumbass aliens,
Yeah.
like, it's just
and he always
stupid
does
looking.
the two fist,
Yes,
bam,
he's like
you know?
double the power. Yeah, two-handed
Like, yeah,
attack.
punching them is just one.
Yeah,
Get him with both. Bam.
that hurts twice as much.
Yeah.
It must.
Did you know that the Gorn, the Gorn, the
That
lizard that he
monster
fights?
dinosaur
He's the
guy,
lizard? Yeah.
That's who I'm thinking of
Apparently,
him pounding on.
Ben
yeah.
Stiller owns that costume. Yeah.
Of all the guys, I bet
The
he
real
puts them on
Gorn.
and yells all the time.
Probably.
Too, doesn't he? Do you remember, what were those little things called? There were little
Jawas.
on Star Trek for original series.
Tribbles. Yes.
Tribbles. Yeah, I remember that strongly from being a kid. The
So
Tribbles.
there was a Star Trek exhibit at is it the PNE?
Sure.
That happens in
Yeah.
Vancouver. It's
Yes.
like a big fair thing that happens. So they had Brent Spiner
Oh,
and
cool, Data.
Marina Sirtis. came,
Counselor Troy.
and I got their autographs on an Enterprise. I don't have it anymore, but
a couple of awesome characters.
yeah,
right? Like,
and so they had like an exhibit that they had some of the original props from.
Cool.
So you could go through and see them,
Get
and
a
then I got a
tricorder?
photo in like the captain's chair.
Oh,
So they had like the
That's
seat,
very cool.
like the set up from the original series.
Neat.
And yeah, that was really cool. But I was gonna say one of the big things they had was like merchandise at the end, and I kind of wish I'd bought more because it was like really cool. But one big thing they were promoting was you could just buy tribbles. So they just had
nice.
big crates that were just
Yeah.
shaking little
Awesome.
fuzz.
Well, they were like
the
animated,
cheapest
like,
stuffed
dynamic
animal to
too,
make.
yeah.
It's a circle, you know.
But they did something. They
yeah,
moved,
they would like vibrate and make
That's
a little
cool.
like chirping sound.
That's
Yeah.
nice. You want to switch to Rogue Squadron?
Yeah,
for
let's
the
do it.
last-
Let's switch it up,
the
guys.
last half of the live stream.
I'm just gonna give us a little pause here while we switch it up, and
Okay.
we will be back shortly.
Okay, 2 minutes, eh? Like
2
one
minutes,
minute.
guys. We'll
Yeah.
give you 2 minutes. All
Okay.
right, we'll be back.
Right
soon.
back.
Hey guys, we're back. We had a piss break. Thank you very much. We are grown men.
I peed. Yeah.
I just had a little
Alright.
piddle.
Yeah, a little fiddle break. Thank you. Sorry about
Alright.
that. We need a break. We're old guys. We can't do a thing for more than an hour without a break, hey?
So we are going to go further back in N64 time here. We're going to load up another game. I am using an illegal emulator. Shh, keep that on the down low.
The EverDrive. If you guys are into video games, you're probably familiar with EverDrive cartridges.
Yeah, we are playing on a real N64
Yeah,
though,
we got a
so
real
this
N64
is real
in front of us.
hardware.
Yeah, and an EverDrive 64. Yeah,
I'd like to thank my buddy Rainey for just giving me this N64. That was really
a nice
nice
gift.
of him. Yeah.
And it's working good considering its age. Because I imagine that's something that one day we're gonna have to take apart and fix.
Yeah.
We end up having to fix
We
bloody
had to fix
everything
everything
around
we
here.
do. Yeah. Nothing ever works
Yeah.
right
Oh,
around
we have a
here.
lot of
Where
old
am I
stuff
going
that
here?
we try
Rogue
to keep
Squadron.
running.
Let's do it.
Now, what would you guys say is the best Star Wars game ever out of all the Star Wars games? Would you say that it is like
I feel
Knights
like
of the Old Republic?
actually, that is good.
Yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic
Or,
is really good, but I honestly feel like they're just getting better and better.
Yeah, because like what Fallen Order? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I
Top
got my
notch.
brother that
Yeah.
one for his
Top-notch
birthday one
game.
year,
Really
and
fun.
like it's just
They,
so much better. Battlefront were pretty fun.
Battlefronts are really fun too. Yeah. Knights of the Old Republic though is a proper good RPG. Also, right? Like
If this game music is too loud, let me know. It looks like it's very
oh,
loud.
whoops,
I'm
sorry.
gonna turn it down
Yeah,
a little bit.
we forgot to say that, but yeah,
Yeah.
if there's anything you feel about the stream, like audio's off, the video's off,
If we should just cut Ryan out of it.
but yeah,
just
then
let
I
me
should
know.
just go. Just let us know, and we will do it. We'll accommodate. Yeah, that would be hilarious. Like, get Ryan out of there. Oh, all right. I'll wait over there.
All right, there's our boy,
There
our
he
boy
is.
Luke.
There he is. And like, oh man, when Luke comes into the Mandalorian on that end of that one episode, oh, that part's cool. Oh, that part's cool. I guess
All
the
right, let's just erase this. That was my practice run.
Luke's a
gonna
blue
get rid of this.
lightsaber, right? And Obi's a green. Or is
Yeah,
it-
but he changes, right? Luke goes green later because he makes his own lightsaber, which is actually a scene they cut out, I believe.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be in Return of the Jedi. I
That's
think he
not-
builds his own
yeah.
lightsaber, and they took that out, so suddenly it's green. And then Darth Vader's like,
Oh.
"Oh, I see you made a new lightsaber." And it's like, well, we would have seen that too if you
Yeah,
left
we
it
should
in.
have seen that too. And yeah, I guess he couldn't be using the potentially evil blue.
Yeah.
The blues go sideways. All right. Oh yeah. This is easy. Does this one
I
have?
think
different...
I think it's
Yeah.
just
I always
one
forget
setting.
which games are like, because you know some games are like, there's one setting you either can do it or you can't.
Much like every Star Wars game, the setting is hard.
Yeah, yeah. It would have been funny if we would have tried to have done Super Star Wars today, and then like not even made it past the first level or something embarrassing
Yeah.
like that, which totally could have been
That's why we
totally
didn't.
could have happened.
Quite
Yeah,
honestly,
'cause, like,
we
it's
made it
flipping
to
hard, yeah.
we made it to level 2 on
We
one
did
of them,
get- yeah.
and then basically died over and over at the beginning of it. So yeah, that's not going to
Bloody
happen.
difficult. Yeah.
I'm just getting ready to mute the audio here because I don't want to have to get copyright
Oh, right.
striked for
'Cause,
this
this
Star
is,
Wars crawl
We're
that's
gonna
coming
start
up.
with some famous music you might recognize.
And I don't want John Williams sending me a cease and desist. So we're
Oh,
going
man.
silent here. Silent runnings.
So-
You see the little squat Luke down there?
yeah, you better be careful. Ah, pretty cool.
Yep.
The N64.
Good ship, that X-Wing.
Oh yeah, they are.
There we go. There's the opening credits.
The spacecraft in Star Wars are arguably a lot cooler than the spacecraft in.
Another
Star Trek.
great sound effects. The TIE fighters flying by.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that whine of them
great.
and everything. Yeah, they're super
Yeah.
cool sounding. Yeah.
So if you're, this opening crawl, right?
Yeah.
It's always just like the music.
Yeah.
If you were gonna
exactly.
have this narrated,
Yeah.
who would you have narrate it?
Probably. What's his name? The guy from The Fly.
Jeff
Jeff
Goldblum.
Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum would be a great.
Jeff Goldblum. Yeah.
Oh,
Who are you thinking?
Luke
You're thinking Christopher
Skywalker
Walken.
movie. I was actually maybe going like a Morgan Freeman would be a great one.
A death metal singer, maybe. Would be
Oh,
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Do it
Add
all
some
like,
yeah, add some
Yeah.
like kind of just drama to it. Yeah.
Either that or just Jar Jar Binks.
Like a Valley Girl with a lot of vocal fry.
Yeah.
You know, like the galaxy. You know.
Control the galaxy.
Galaxy.
Yeah.
That could be good.
That'd be good. Very good.
Maybe a talking dog like Scooby Doo. That'd be cool.
Ruh-roh, the Empire.
That'd be all right. Yeah.
Alright.
It is funny how they do that, and then they make you sit to where like you could never hope to read it.
Yeah, this
Like,
is
you still have to
unskippable,
watch
by
it
the
go
way.
away. Yeah, you have to watch these letters go off into the next galaxy, even though you can't read them. All right, fair enough.
All right, we are in. Audio is back.
Okay, so now
Classic X-wings flying around a planet.
we
Can't
gotta-
go wrong.
we gotta blow up some Empire stuff, right?
Yeah, we're gonna kill some probe droids. I think is the episode. Episode 1, level 1.
A level 1.
You got Wedge Antilles, a named Star
Yes,
Wars character.
Some more actual lore
Did
here.
he die over the Death Star, or did he survive? I can't
I'm
remember.
not sure if Wedge lives. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Now, I may have to move our camera because I think there may
There's
be
a-
some info behind this left-hand scene. Let me just quickly pause.
There's a lot to know with Star Trek.
Oh, I
and
gotta
Star Wars.
unpause.
Yeah, we have to figure out where you're gonna
Yeah,
have.
yeah,
Like,
right over
in-game
here,
maps and
guys. That's
stuff
where
like
we're
that,
going.
right?
Here
And
we
then
go.
Not cover them up. Yeah.
Let me just get rid of Aunt Brew and Uncle Owen for a second.
Yeah. Moisture farm that.
Yeah.
Hey?
Don't need any moisture when you're dead.
Oh, frig, man. Thinking about Star Wars music, Bushes of Love.
Yeah,
You guys
yeah,
know
bad
Bushes
lip
of Love
reading.
from
Yeah,
Bad Lip Reading.
yeah.
That's got to be one of
Bushes
the
of
funniest.
Love was great. What was the Yoda one? Seagull. Stop it now.
Yeah.
Great song.
The Bushes of Love though is so
Yeah.
funny. That's got to be some of the funniest Star Wars laughs that you're gonna have.
Have you seen? I can't guarantee that it's real because I saw it on the internet.
Okay, good enough.
But apparently there was like when they first showed Star Wars in like was it Brazil? It was some kind of South American country.
Yeah.
They didn't want to stop it to put the ads in, so they edited in all the ads as if they're in the movie.
Oh, that
So
must
like there's like
look
the scene where
interesting.
Obi-Wan is going to reach for the lightsaber to give to Luke, but he reaches out and grabs like a beer and gives you an ad in Spanish.
that is next level advertising right there. Wow.
Very funny.
Changing up
Yeah.
how movies go to.
It would be
speaking,
like
that's
blasphemy,
huge,
but
yeah,
it
that's
was
huge.
great.
But also, yeah, I
Don't
dig
know
it,
if that's
yeah.
true or if
I
someone just
dig it.
edited it themselves.
That could have
and
just been a laugh, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff on the internet. Gotta remember that. It's just a
Many
laugh,
laughs on the internet.
Somebody having a laugh.
I think these are friendlies.
Oh, it's hard to
Yeah,
tell.
they're
isn't
green.
it? Like,
Yeah, they're
I see the
bullseyeing
map.
womp rats down
Yeah.
there.
the map.
This is actually how Rebel Assault starts. You're in one of those guys flying through a canyon,
Oh, okay.
and it is very hard just to get through that level, just because the controls are so bad.
They sure made games hard back in the day.
They made games impossible. I don't know why. See, when I had my Super Nintendo, all of my games had saves from my cousin Eric.
Yeah.
So a lot of those games we could open his saves, and the game was almost done. So we could see
That's
what
cool.
what the end of the game
Yeah,
would
what
look
it
like
would've
if
looked
we were
like.
good enough to do it. But when me and my brother played them, I don't think we ever beat a single game once.
You don't shoot the base thingies like the towers and the bases.
No, we're leaving Jabba alone. I think is that a Jabba's palace?
Oh, is
it
that?
kind of looks
All right,
like it.
yeah, we don't want to get in that trouble. We don't need that smoke, do we? A fine game. I like how the N64 looks. I mean, it's a little
It's got a
polygonal.
yeah.
but,
It could use a few more polygons, but
but mostly
for its
a
day.
good look, a fine look.
I mean, it had a lot of like really amazing games. I mean, when Super Mario 64
Absolutely.
came out, that was like unbelievable. But it was that unfortunate time where they hadn't quite figured out
No.
3D cameras, So it was like very hard to.
Did
keep
you have a
track of stuff.
GameCube?
I missed the GameCube, unfortunately, because I think I had my N64. Like I was saying, I never had
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
early, so I played my N64 for a long time, and eventually I got an Xbox, and I think that was my next
Yeah, and
console.
jumped the GameCube. But
My
the GameCube
brother
was
had
like a
PlayStation stuff.
pretty
So.
awesome one for Nintendo. Really,
It
with a
was.
lot
One of my
awesome
friends had
games.
one.
Take that, you flipping TIE fighters.
See, great sound though, even in this
Yes.
game.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully our sound isn't bugging you guys on the stream because we have a tiny bit of the video game sound playing in front of us here so we can hear it a little bit, but we weren't sure. Hopefully that's not causing you feedback or annoyance. If it is, you let us know and we'll do something about it. I wonder what other Star Wars games would be cool for us to like in the future to play. Because I mean, there is a lot. There is
Yeah,
some
if
good
we had a
ones.
more modern console,
Yeah.
we'd have a lot more choices
yeah.
that are
That's true.
playable.
The most modern console Neil and I have. Well, Neil's got a Switch.
I do have a
and
Switch.
I've got a PS3 sitting over there.
I also have
But
a PS3.
frig, I couldn't even. What would be a PS3 Star Wars game? I don't even.
I don't even know what came out on PS3 really. I only have a couple games for PS3.
I have that PS3 for Dark Souls.
Nice.
Yeah, which we could play. We could do
One
a Dark
game.
Souls
Oh,
stream one
well,
day.
you
That'd be
could
fun.
maybe. I could probably not beat anybody in Dark Souls.
The nice thing about Dark Souls is that it's slow and plodding. So if you just
Yeah.
hold up your shield and go slowly, you'll be fine. You know, you can always
Look at
play
that.
Dark Souls in
Mission
that style.
complete.
Nice. Wow, we beat a level.
Yeah.
Look at us go.
My mom says she can't hear the game. I'll turn it up for
Oh,
you,
okay.
Mom. Here you go.
Thanks, Vicky. Good. We'll adjust. We'll adjust it for you.
Let me know if that's good.
Oh yeah, you don't really get to pick though, right? It's just the next level.
Yeah,
right? Like,
you
you're
can
not
go
really-
back and do the same level because you can try to
Okay,
get
you-
like
yeah.
better scores and you get
Yes.
a medal if you do it real good, which we'll never get.
for our speed runs.
You want to try level 2?
Sure.
All
I'm
right.
really bad at this game. We
Yeah.
tried it earlier and I really suck at it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
How's
you don't
there,
have your driving glasses out.
I don't.
so,
I don't.
yeah.
Yeah. Never been a great. I love video games and I've played them my whole life just about, but I've never been that good at them really.
No, we can't really hear the game sounds here too because it comes out in our microphones. But
Yeah.
Ryan, in this level, I think there's trucks on the ground,
Okay.
and you're supposed to stop any enemies from killing them. Yeah, those
More
guys.
trucks, eh? Seems
Yeah.
kind of unfair, picking on these trucks, but I will.
Yeah.
I can't skip any of this, can I?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. Yeah. I needed that good luck though. I'm gonna be counting on that. All right. Up is down and down is up. That's the first thing about the game that I.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is it these guys?
Those, yeah,
here?
those guys are bad. Yeah, you can
Alright.
shoot those.
Take this. Take a bit of this, and then for you, some of this.
Nice. Off to a good start.
Off to a good start. Yeah. It seems slower, like I'm just lazily kind of cruising
Yeah.
around here. Whoops, I'm driving in the ground.
Also, don't
It doesn't
forget
even
your-
have
Your
wheels.
trigger slows you down too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
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 The really leisurely little fly through here. Now these trucks.
Yeah,
I'm
those
mad
are
at
those
these
are
guys, I
good. No,
believe.
those are good guys.
Oh, those friendly fire.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll leave
don't
you guys
kill your
alone.
friends.
I'll leave you guys alone.
If you like go up in
What about
front
him,
of them.
though?
No, all green.
This
Those
guy?
guys up there. See the floating black
Oh,
ones? Yeah,
yes.
those guys are bad.
These guys are
Yes.
baddies. They will be made to pay. Is there any more?
Nice.
Wasn't there one on
yeah,
this
there's
side?
one right there. You're about to fly into him.
I'm gonna fly into him then. Yeah. Uh-oh. Now I've got a problem. Now I'm in trouble. He's gonna hurt my trucks.
Whoa.
Oh. If he would just fly into my bullets better, it would really help me out.
He's stationary. He doesn't even move.
He's not moving?
No.
I
You
feel-
need to fly further away and circle
Oh, I'm
back.
gonna
There
get
you
him.
go. There you go.
I'm gonna get him.
Get him.
Just
get
gotta
him.
be careful.
Nope.
Nope.
missed
nope. I missed him. This is hard.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
look at that.
Have I
You died.
damaged my
You-
TIE fighter
you-
too much?
Your TIE
my
fighter.
X-wing, I mean, sorry.
You got an Imperial
Yeah,
soldier
I'm
over here.
actually, that's why I play so
He's a
bad.
spy.
I'm with the
Yeah.
Empire, yeah. Do you remember that funny meme I sent you with the stormtroopers that could shoot well?
Yeah.
Wasn't that funny? Flip. I love a good Star Wars meme. Now, I can't see any guys. Am I hitting them?
There's nobody there. Oh, you're coming up on. There's a bad one.
There's a baddie.
AT-ATs,
Take
yeah.
this.
They take a lot of bullets.
Take this, you baddies. They'll regret the day they messed with me.
Well, you did kill one.
That's one way to do it, right? It does count. And now I've died a hero.
That's true.
Yeah. Thank you.
Leia's bound to give your corpse a medal.
That's why I do it. I do it for the glory. All right, you baddies. Stop flying around so much. I'm trying to shoot you guys. Okay, what about you? I'm going to shoot you then.
Yeah, you can shoot him.
Is this a baddie? He
Yeah,
kinda
yeah,
seems
yeah,
like a
yeah.
baddie.
Shoot him.
I shoot you. Take this, baddie.
Boom.
Boom. What about you guys flying around up there? You look like baddies.
No,
What
maybe.
about this guy? He's a baddie.
Yeah, those are bad.
It is time for your punishment, baddie. Oh, right. Those are the guys that take more hits than
Yeah.
than I can give them.
You need to give him a few passes. Sacrifice for the good of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Good call.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, right.
You
Cost
lost.
us the game.
All right, don't
I
worry.
see.
I'll handle this.
All right. Well, not one of my better runs, but also I've done a lot worse. Yeah, these are good games. These are fun Star Wars games. It's gonna make me want to watch Star Wars now tonight, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good day for Star Wars.
It's a good day. Well, I've got to catch up with Andor because the new season's out. Andor's really cool too.
They release stuff like specifically for May 4th. I feel like that'd be smart.
Andor's currently airing, so it just would have been like. But I don't
Do
know
like a
if they do
season
special
finale
thing.
on May 4th or something
Right,
if they
yeah.
were smart.
Or at least you could do the holiday special on May
Oh,
4th.
yeah.
That would
Every year.
That'd be good too. Yeah. Well, thank you again, everybody, for joining us on our first live stream.
Yeah, if you have any questions, anything
Yeah.
you want to chat about,
You wanna
throw
hear
it down
about
in the
any
chat there.
Pedal secrets.
Yeah, if you
Some
want to know
pedal
about
secrets.
pedals, you can let us know what you want to know.
What else are we even working on lately? Hey, like I don't know. What are we tinkering on? We've got the VU meter.
Oh yeah, we're kind of maybe bringing back a spectrum analyzer thing.
Yeah, maybe. We are going to bring back the spectrum analyzer just in its regular form, just to make 25 more of them because we haven't made them for a long time and people ask for them. So we're going to do another little mini round of those. But we have an idea to take the analyzer to kind of its next level, where instead of the bar graph LEDs, you'd use addressable LEDs, neopixels, so that you can have any color of any, the LEDs can be any color at any time. You could do way more dynamic lighting effects with the analyzer, like just all kinds of anything. And you know how it is now, you buy an analyzer, it looks like one way, right? Like you buy a green one and it's just green all the time. Well, if we did a addressable RGB LED version, then you'd be able to have all kinds of, all the choices would be available. Push a button. Hey, push a little button and scroll through like studio, red, green, blue, whatever. It would just be a cool upgrade.
We could even do things like, all the LEDs underneath don't light. It's just one LED that goes up and down.
Or the lights down instead of up or whatever. Lights from the middle even. You could do like...
Yeah, we could just choose whatever it does.
How it works. But at the end of the day, I still love the old school bar graph LEDs of the classic analyzer. So I kind of still don't want those to go away either, because, once nobody's making anything out of bar graph LEDs, then they'll just be gone. And there's not a lot of bar graph LEDs in the guitar pedal world at the moment. So I kind of like to keep using them a little bit. But we could do 2 analyzers.
Yeah, and why not?
We have a VU meter idea too, which is a screen. And then it has one of those cool needles, for a VU, and it is going to be a clock too, like for a pedal board, so it could be a timer, a clock, and then when you play signal through it, it switches to measuring it with a VU meter. And I think that's a pretty neat little gadget too. But gadgets, we just tinker on them. They're not as important as maybe the Cosmic Chorus, let's say. Did you do the same thing?
I sure did, yeah.
It's the only way to do it, isn't it?
We're heroes.
How are you supposed to fly around? It's hard to fly around.
It's very hard, yeah. You got to do like a big loop.
You have to do a big loop, right? Yeah. No, none of these games are super easy.
They're all very hard. It's like they made these games thinking like, you know what? Kids don't like having fun, right?
Yeah,
they want to struggle.
They want to struggle, yeah. But no, you think back in the day, you paid a lot of money for these video games. I want to flip and see the levels. I want to beat this game. Cuz they were expensive back in the day. I feel like it still cost you $50-$60 to get a Nintendo game.
Totally.
Back, right?
Not to mention you had to get the system as well.
Yeah.
I remember renting video games was like a big thing.
Yeah, I liked that too. I liked renting video games too. Actually, it's quite a good value proposition there, isn't it? To spend $5 and then realize you do not like this thing versus buying it outright. Because, we'd have to admit that lots of the games weren't awesome.
No, many of them were not. I remember
sometimes they were
not really enjoying many games that I had. But I was also lucky that I was given most of the games I had, so I didn't really buy that many.
Was your brother a big gamer?
Yes, my brother still is.
That's cool.
He got into a lot of big RPG games. He played Morrowind a lot when you were younger.
The Bethesda.
Yeah, games that I always tried to get into, and I was not as into it as he was.
Yeah, I think
I had a short attention span, so it's like when I had a long game.
Yeah.
It was
didn't really work for
too much.
Yeah. I would still like to put a lot of hours into Skyrim.
Planning on a Cosmic Chorus V4, Mac? Yes, we are.
Oh, hey, Mac.
If that is a V4, it's probably like a V107 really at this point.
No, he's right. It's a V4. He nailed it.
All right.
It's good. Thank you for
we are.
asking.
Yes, we talked about it earlier.
We're well
into it. We're on another PCB revision.
Yeah, if you think about what we so we got our first PCB. Basically, the first PCB is like all of the ideas that you're going to want to have for the thing. They're maybe not fully fleshed out, but the system is in place in a way that it should work, were you to deck it out and bring it into life. And so you get it all together on the thing, and then you start experimenting with them and realizing, this doesn't quite work as good as I was hoping, or that would be done a different way and it would be an improvement. And that's where we're at now with our second revision of the Cosmic Chorus V4. And I think it's coming along really nicely. We've kept the exact same analog signal path. Okay, it's still stereo, same signal path with the same Bucket Brigade chips and everything, MN3007 delay chips, right? We're not veering away from that. Same tone control, going for the same heart of that sound of the Cosmic Chorus V3, but we've added some neat things where we don't use the clock chip anymore. So now we can have tap tempo, we can have a bunch of different LFOs, we can do the classic sine wave or triangle wave that you expect, but we can also do ramps, random, sample and hold, stuff like that just is fun. I think the ramps are fun. Step LFOs are really fun. And so the new version is 8. It has 8 knobs and 4 buttons, and then 2 stomps. and so it has a few more features, a few more little details about it. It looks cool.
Yeah,
it's
there's a
I
lot
think
of
it's coming
LEDs
along.
in it,
Yeah, it
so
has
it
a lot of
like
LEDs.
a lot of
Yeah, it looks
shininess.
cool. Still has the does that no, it doesn't have the flashing rate knob anymore. We took that away, didn't we?
Um,
And just have a dedicated LED for the oscillator. Remember, right above the two stomps, there's one LED that shows you the oscillator's rate and everything, and
yes.
then one for on off. It has a simple preset system too, so you can. Sorry, I keep hitting my mic. I'm sorry, I'm too animated. It's got a simple preset system. It is. I think I mentioned it is stereo again, but get this, it's stereo on separate jacks now. So you have in left, in right, out left, out right. We're not gonna on the
Yeah,
V3, man, people complained about those TRS stereo jacks, so we're not going to do that anymore. We're just going to break the jacks out. Same size box, though, the 1590BB box. That's a good size box. And it'll have one expression jack that I think you're going to get a choice of.
yeah, I think there's an internal switch.
Yeah, and
You
can
select
do like,
what it's controlling.
yeah, like do the rate or do like
A depth, I think.
yeah, maybe even
something
change
like
LFOs if you wanted. We could probably come up with more
really
ideas
make it do
about it,
whatever
you know,
we
like
want.
about
Yeah.
because it's not done, so we still have to do a lot of the programming. No screens, not a screen one. It's
Full presets.
yes.
Every single
Yeah,
control
oh,
can be saved as a preset.
That's a sweet thing about the new Cosmic Chorus. Okay, lots of times on a pedal that has presets, you can't save the analog presets. Like say you have an analog volume, analog mix, analog tone. Those things might be not able to. They don't go through the microcontroller, so they're not able to be saved as part of the preset. But we set up the new Cosmic Chorus that those are part of the preset system and remain fully analog. So that's actually a sweet feature that we were stoked about. It is you can save those settings and they are all analog, and that part works really well. The clock works really well. We use a micro now for the clock, so we have a lot of control over the clock versus so we lose those toggles. We still have the invert though, where you can invert the wet signal from the dry signal, which just sort of changes the kind of changes the character of the sound of the chorus, to being a little more. That's inverted is a bit more of like a hollow sound.
Yeah.
For the wet signal, it just has a cool, more different sort of resonance to the effect when it's inverted.
We're also playing with a like a feedback control, so it
Yeah.
like sends the signal back in
Yeah,
after it's been chorused and gets re-chorused.
yeah, because
And kind of like I don't know, it's a balance of noise and cool sounding. So
Yeah.
we're kind of
that's,
playing with that a little bit.
that sort of feedback idea is basically what's the difference between a flanger circuit from a chorus circuit is that the flanger is going to take output and feed it back into the input and then have a much faster delay rate. And so we thought it'd be cool if we did something similar with the Cosmic Chorus, because you can do fairly light delay rates with it. And now you also can feed back some of the output back into the input to give yourself kind of, I wouldn't call it like a flanger mode or a flanger sound. It's just sort of like
No, it just I don't know.
different
It
kind of
sounds
sound,
like thicker and
Yeah.
I don't know.
just so you get like
Just cool. It's like another extra feature just
extra
for no
feature.
reason, you know.
Oh, an envelope. We put an envelope on.
Oh
the,
yeah. So now you can have it like controlled by
Yeah.
your guitar signal, so you play louder and it'll
Yeah.
chorus
Envelope
harder.
stuff is kind of fun. I like the envelope that we have for like Dusk and Freak. I think those envelopes they're cool sounding and they're neat to play with. So we wanted to do that for the Cosmic Chorus V4 too, and we did. And what other little deets or features about it? Same like volume, tone, mix. You get a clock knob, you get a rate knob. You have the envelope is a knob now, so you can like control the strength of your envelope signal or how much it's affecting the. That's actually one of the systems that we still have to like finalize is exactly how that envelope is going to play with the wet signal, but. That's one of the things
Yeah.
you still cook up as
And
you're bringing it all together.
Working on redoing our tone control as well. Our first one didn't really work, so we're doing a new one. We have a new one set up. We just have to implement it onto our next revision.
Doing a voltage control filter for the tone control, which keeps it an analog filter block, but lets it be run by the micro. And so if the micro can control the setting of it, then you can save it as a preset, but it doesn't get digitized or mess up the signal or anything like that. It stays fully analog, stays just like sounding how it was supposed to sound. That's a big thing when you do another version of a pedal like a V4. Can't change it up too much from how the V3 was, like how it sounded and everything. We want to follow that path. Oh, there's Tanya.
Oh,
Wishing a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, love, Rebecca.
That's Becky doing it now. Thank you, Becky. Much appreciated. Have a
Yep.
good week. I'll miss you.
That is Sandy from our latest
that's,
video with Dusty Britches.
We love having Becky help us out with the videos. It's really fun to have a little kid around and bring her into the mix. You know,
Yeah,
it's
and then
fun
we
for
have
everybody.
to do less stuff.
Yeah, so you can carry all the heavy things that we need to pack
Yeah,
around. Too. She's
exactly.
a tough little kid.
Someone has to
Thank
do
you,
all the
Becky.
heavy lifting.
You're a great little helper. Ah, looks like you're doing, I don't know, decently at this.
Yeah,
Yeah, better than me, can we say?
I would say so.
All right, let's say
I've
it.
gotten
Yeah.
to level 3.
Let's say it. Do you think you beat this one back in the day?
No. I
Yeah.
actually didn't have this game back in the day.
All right, yeah.
I was really into Super Smash Bros. When
Oh
I was,
yeah,
when
yeah.
I was
That's
a
the
kid.
one where you're like
It's like just a fighting game,
a
but
fighting
you fight
game,
with Mario characters, right?
Yeah. Right.
And
That's a
yeah, me and my
classic,
friends,
yeah.
every sleepover, it was just that. We just play that for 8 solid hours.
Was there a Luigi's Mansion for N64, or is that just for GameCube?
There was one for GameCube. I don't know if it came out
Maybe
on
not
N64.
for N64.
I also have the new, one of the newer ones on Switch.
New Luigi Mansion.
Yeah.
Those
It's
are
a great little
classic
fun
games,
Halloween game.
Those are
you know?
really good games. Who are you being right now, and what are you flying in?
I'm flying an A-wing, you know?
Oh,
you know
okay,
an A-wing, right?
I don't know. I looked at it and I thought, I don't know that. What is that thing? Are you being like Wedge or somebody right
I
now?
think I just lost. I think
did
somebody
you?
died, yeah. Whenever he talks to you, that's bad.
Oh, that's bad.
news.
Oh, he's-
that's like my
He's
boss
telling
saying,
you, yeah, it's
you're
your
done.
boss telling
You're
you,
done, bud.
You've stuffed this up, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Mission failed.
Bummer. Well, you gave it a good go.
I
didn't
gave it
you?
a real good go. I got some green numbers. Look at that.
I see several green numbers.
20% accuracy. Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. Yeah.
0 bonus collected.
Good. We'll save them for the people of that planet to collect.
Yeah.
It's their
They're-
bonuses.
yeah.
That was
I'm
very
not
big
here
of
for
you.
your bonuses.
That was very
You
big
can
of you
keep
to
'em.
leave them alone, yeah. Oh gosh, what do you think? So the Cosmic Chorus, we got the Reverberator. What else are we working on? Not really working on maybe anything else at the moment. Pondering the atmosphere. Always pondering the atmosphere. Hey.
Oh, we have a little delay pedal thing on the go. That's just going to be
Oh,
a pedal
right.
for one of my friends asked for. The guitar
One
player
of-
in my
yeah,
band,
yeah,
Dixie
one of
Fried
the bands
Hepcats.
Niels plays in.
Yeah, he asked for a pedal to kind of replace his pedal board. So if he ever needs to go somewhere with just one pedal,
Yeah.
this has like a preamp, a boost, and a delay all in one.
Yeah, so it's like slapback delay, preamp with a bit of gain.
Yeah, and then just
And
like
the
a clean
NDQ?
boost at the end.
Is there
Yeah.
much tone control in that preamp, or is that
A little
not-
bit. It's kind of
yeah.
like a mid boost, so it gives you a little like it's not very deep because it's made for rockabilly stuff, so it's just good little rock and roll stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Max says he's
Yeah.
still rocking
Thank
V3
you.
number 33.
Well, an early one. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. We made about 600 of those of the V3. I think it ended in the 600s. Maybe 500s. I'm not sure, but it was 5, 6. Not a ton of those. Why'd we stop making the V3? Hey. Thanks, Brian.
What sounds pretty cool, Brian?
The V4.
Oh, V4, yeah, right on.
Thanks, Jason.
And Jason Sim
Much
buying one for
appreciated, you
sure.
guys. Thank you very much. We appreciate
If we
the
let
heck
you
out of
have
that.
one, I don't know.
We're gonna. The V3 was a real labor of love. The V3 didn't really get stopped being made for any good reason, other than it was a very hard build. It was really hard to get it all put together in the box. The way that those TRS jacks sat in that depth of the 1590 BB box meant that they didn't have a lot of room at the top panel. They should have just been cut directly out, but I didn't do it that way. I tried to cut really fine holes that would have like just a half a millimeter of clearance on the one side, and they would blow out all the time, and it was really hard to it was just a bit of a fight. Sometimes a build is like not, because this is true for the Tremolescence V3 too, that the stereo version of the Tremolescence, where I would say the build was like tougher than it needed to be, and tough in a way that made it hard to make the pedals, and you wanted to make other things maybe more so because of it was just a bit tough. And we have to consider that going forward about what these builds are like. And back in the day, because those builds are from like 2010, 2011, right, where I cooked up how the Cosmic Chorus or V3 would go, and you learn a lot. You learn a lot from doing things in an awkward way about how much better it could be if you did it in a smarter way. And I'd be
Yeah.
the first to say that I didn't nail those builds, and they were quite tough. The Trem was even tougher to build than the flippin' Cosmic Chorus. They were really hard builds. But I do love both of those circuits and those effects, and completely plan on making them again one day.
It's kind of the same thing with the atmosphere.
Oh, yes.
It was a pain to make
Yeah.
that.
We kind of got talking a bit about the atmosphere and the changes. And, there was a handful of the features, right? Like, for one thing, the atmosphere was based off of 2 microcontrollers. One standard, common, easy to get your hands on micro, and then one tougher, rarer, more expensive, and harder to work with micro. And we would meld the 2 together and they would work together in complicated ways. And going forward, we'd love to have a 1 micro system where we didn't have 2 micros. It's quite tough to balance the 2 and to work with them both. And we would like to just have 1. And so that's one big thing. And the second big thing is the way that we handled the volume and the mix. You want to use something, if you want to keep the signal analog, but you want to be able to save those things as presets, then you need to use something like a voltage controlled amplifier, a more complicated circuit that can have digital control over analog elements, even from, say, like using a digipod or something like that. Like, there's a whole bunch of ways that you could implement it, but it takes a lot of planning. And the way that we came up with worked really well, stayed fully analog, sounded really good. Presets worked really well too, like as far as the micro being able to save those settings. It's just that, like, it used a chip that was like really expensive and kind of hard to get. And you'd like to use things that are more commonly available, you can get your hands on easily, and that aren't going to be such a big price that it changes the overall price of the pedal just because of this one chip choice that you've made. So we think we could tighten things up there a bit. And then the stereo aspect is probably at the heart of the Atmosphere's not controversy, but like it's bit of mystery or confusion about what direction forward it should take. Is it probably should have been stereo from the get-go, but stereo in that format, right, because it was in a 125B, so the smallest size box, there isn't room for the jacks. There's like
No.
there's so much. And then
And the
DSP.
DSP, it took up the entire instruction set, so we'd have to have double the circuitry.
Because the Atmosphere is based off the FV1, right? Probably you'd say the most common DSP chip that's used in guitar pedals. It's an awesome chip, and you can do really awesome DSP effects with it. Even the fuzz on the BitQuest, right? Even that high gain side of the BitQuest, that's just pure FV1 DSP, and it sounds really cool. We like it a lot. But you have a limit of 128 lines of code that you can use for each patch in a FV1 effect. So say you're making a really cool reverb, right? You only have 128 lines, and then that's all you can do. You can't do any more tinkering with it, even if you have other ideas that you can't implement with that small of a... It sounds like maybe a lot of code if you're not used to programming, but when you actually get into it and you start writing out all the things that have to happen in a complicated DSP patch, you run out of the lines of code fast. Mm-hmm. And in the Atmosphere, if you think about the complicated patches, like say the one patch where you can switch between a trem or a ring mod or a chorus for your reverb sound, that uses up 128 lines. Almost all the Atmosphere patches use up every single line of code. And so now if you were like, okay, well, we want this to be a stereo effect, now you got to figure out how to incorporate stereo audio, a whole right channel signal, right? Everything you've done so far is now just on a left channel. Now you have to do it for a right channel, but you have no extra lines of code. It's impossible. You can't. There's no way to do it. And then so now you have to ponder, well, are we going to learn a new DSP? Are we going to learn how to program DSP on, say, an STM32 micro or something like that? Or are you going to use 2 FV1s? Just bite the bullet. Get 2 of those bad boys in. One for the left, one for the right. And, there's all these ideas, right, of how you're going to, like, take this pedal to its final form. Because we do feel like that's the kind of reverb we want to have in our line for many years now, is to get the Atmosphere back into its, final form and get making it. And we're still just kind of kicking around, what's the best way to do that?
Yep, and we have so many other ideas too that we end up just doing other stuff instead.
Yeah, because like,
and then we end up just playing Star Wars games.
And then we just goof off on a Sunday afternoon and do this. So it's like we can't do everything. We're only 2 people. We just can't get it all done.
There's just too much Star Wars to get through.
We've got to get through this. Yeah, but we will. We will get these pedals back. Cosmic Chorus, I think, is a this year thing. Don't you think, Neil, that we can make it this year?
Oh yeah.
Atmosphere, I don't think it'll be a this year thing, but I do think it's going to
this
happen.
Lifetime.
Yeah, this lifetime. Yeah, thank you.
In Wizard years, though, so
yes.
maybe
So
maybe another 500 more years.
But we will get it.
Yeah.
And it'll be stereo, won't it? Like that's going to be our goal. Is it's going to
Most
come back
likely,
as a
yeah.
stereo pedal. Worst case Ontario, it comes back in the 1590 BB. The Cosmic Chorus size box, right? So it's a bit wider box, but you got your 4 jacks broken out. The screen would have a plentiful space in there to work with. I would like the next version of the Atmosphere screen to be touch.
Yeah, touchscreen. Yeah.
Because like say our VU meter and like if you watch on my Instagram and you see like the amps I make and stuff like that with those screens, those are all touch screens and they are way awesomer than like the screen that we put in the Atmosphere is a much simpler and less good looking screen as what's available nowadays. You know, that's a real 2018 LCD screen, but here in 2025 you can get a much richer color, better viewing angle, right? So you can look at it sideways and still see the image nicely, and then also have it be touchscreen. And that's, I think, going to open up, you know, that'll open up some power for us with that Atmosphere's framework. So I think we just have to sort of finish the Cosmic Chorus and then mosey on into the Atmosphere, and it'll be fun to do. Like we're looking forward to it. It's a big bite.
Yep.
And we definitely want to get it right. Not that we didn't get it right in 2018 when we released it, but
I think that was easily the best we could have done in 2018.
We worked for 2 years on it too, is the thing, right? Like we put everything we had into that Atmosphere.
Yeah.
And we only stopped making it because of the part shortages. If you guys remember, after COVID happened, you couldn't get your hands on any electronic parts anymore. Stuff that was really normal to get, gone. Unavailable. And it happened the worst with the most complicated micro of the Atmosphere, a SAMD based micro that was literally gone from the planet. They just stopped making them, and then you know it took a year maybe for that to bounce back into production. But by that time, when you have the thing out of production for a year, now you've pondered a million changes for it, right? You've pondered all this whole new version for it and all these things you want to do different, and why didn't we do it like that, and we got to do it like this, and so you don't bring it back in the same way. Like we could just start making the Atmosphere again, but we just feel like we have this idea for where it's supposed to go, and if you bring it back this year but then do the big upgrade for it next year, then that makes people, they don't love, you know, customers generally don't love that idea either. So
the other thing too is just the way we actually physically put the screens in the pedal was such a pain. So we'd
really
have to build the entire pedal and then take it all apart again and like desolder the screen and adjust it, solder it back in, put it back in the pedal. If it's a little off, take it all apart again. It was
because you notice
just
we didn't have
pain.
any like reference mounting bolts or screws on the front panel of the Atmosphere, right? The screen just sits flush from behind and then has to be centered into that panel of the cutout of the box. It has to be centered in there perfectly, and of course, you know,
it never
nothing
would
ever just centers in perfectly. That's like, it just doesn't happen at all. And actually, I guess really ultimately, hey Neil, that's the thing holding us back from probably doing a new round of Atmospheres. Like all those things are a problem. The dual DSPs, what are we going to use for a micro, blah blah blah. The VCA has to change, but really it probably comes down to both of our minds when we're actually going to be building this pedal. How the flip are we going to get the screens mounted so that they are completely secure but also completely centered and straight? And
and we keep throwing around ideas for that too. Like it's not like we're not thinking about it. We've talked about ideas for it. I think we've had some thoughts and we might have some solutions for it, but it's the kind of thing where we just have to try it and see how it goes. How's it going to look, right? Like,
yes, how's it going to look?
So,
but we were quite tickled with the Atmosphere, you know.
I think it was a great pedal.
It was a little discouraging to release it and have people instantly be like, it's useless, it's not stereo.
Yeah.
And for us, you know, we put those 2 years into it, and we were like, well, guitars are still mono. You know?
Yeah, it's like not everybody needs everybody needs a stereo pedal, but
we didn't really think.
But those stereo people are loud. Let me tell you,
stereo users, man, they will make their opinion known.
These things look like the guy from RoboCop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, flipping RoboCop. But no, I don't mean any offense to stereo users either. You know, we think that's cool too. We get it. It's just, we could not have made that version of the pedal stereo.
Yeah.
It just couldn't have been done. And now going forward, we will try hard to make it stereo. We will try hard. I do think we can do it too. I don't think the 2 DSP idea is crazy.
No,
It's not
possible to do that.
not the only pedal out there with 2 FV1s in them. You know, like the several brands have quite decked out FV1 pedals that have 2 in it. You know, like even one where one feeds into the other one, where you get a bunch of effects going in the first one and off it goes to the second one to get, you know, DSP'd even more, right? So
I cannot beat this level. My boss does not like me.
yeah, you're gonna get demoted.
I think I keep letting them kill my shuttle down there.
You're gonna get demoted to one of the droids that sits in the back seat.
I'm already a trainee. How much lower can I go?
Garbage droid.
I'm gonna be a gonk
Yeah,
droid
you're gonna
after
be
this.
a garbage droid next.
I'm gonna be one of those little rat ones on the Death Star, you know, just bumps into Chewbacca.
Flipping rat roundup.
Yeah.
All right, you know, we did tell you guys that we were gonna do a 2-hour stream. We've hit our 2.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us. I don't imagine if you fire away if you got a final question for us, but I imagine we'll wind her down here and let you guys get on with your Sunday evening. Thank you again for spending this afternoon with us. We really appreciate it. If you're watching this, you know, after
Down
the
the
fact,
road.
thank you very much for checking it out. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll probably do some more live streams sometime. I don't know. We're not going
I
to have
think
a
we
set
will.
schedule, but
No.
we'll be back once in a while.
It's fun. Neil and I like goofing off and playing games.
Yeah.
If we turn the camera very slightly over, you'd see the arcade that's beside us here.
Yeah,
and
we got a big arcade.
We must have beaten just dozens of like run and gun 2-player at once arcade games, and I think that would be fun to do too for a stream. Well, thank you very much, America. Much appreciated. Thank you. Tomorrow, 49 years old. Holy flip. That's wild, though. 1 year from 50, eh? Jeez. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Anything else you want to add to this?
No, I guess that's pretty much it. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We'd really appreciate that.
yeah.
You know, we've been working
We would.
really hard on these stupid videos.
Yeah, our
so,
silly
We
videos.
hope you've been enjoying
Thank
that.
you. Imagine the people that are here right now. You've probably watched every one of our videos too.
Most
Thank you very much for checking those out too. We've been having a lot of fun making those. We've talked for a long time about how we would, you know, what sort of stuff should we do with Dr. Scientist to like market or promote, you know, because we're not really doing the same kind of stuff as the big companies do. We have to do stuff that works for our tiny little company, and those videos have been really fun. I've enjoyed making them. I don't know, they've been a good time.
Yeah. So we're going to be making them regardless of whether you enjoy them or not. So hopefully you do enjoy them. So subscribe and keep an eye out for those. We always appreciate you stopping by, leaving comments, and hanging out with us.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
And yeah, thank you, everybody. We'll see you later.
Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
See you next time.